Dust is in my eyes, my blood is on the ground. Quiet little chuckle and the shuffling of the boots of the coward that shot me down. He turns toward the sunrise and I hear him softly say, I guess you've met your macho man as the colors fade to gray.
Howdy, partners. Dust and Blood is a rabble-rousing, rootin'-tootin', bronco-bustin' podcast not suitable for the ears of young'uns. Take a gander at the content warnings and listen with care.
Welcome to Dust and Blood, a narrative play podcast set in the wild, weird fantasy West. I'm Blake, your GM, and our players are Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, and Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Last time on Dust and Blood, our heroes explored Perdition, received new quests from the Diamondback Railroad, and made a disfavorable impression on Jesse Blackburn, who claims to own the town. I want to start right where we left off. Right as Maz, you step into the Three Clops Tavern, and you've heard Jim just going. He has been yelling at Cameron and the rest of the players up on the stage. You see him holding the fiddle kind of loosely in his hand as you do this, and he looks at you and says, "Sorry, this is a closed rehearsal. Why don't you buttle off, small one, and let the professionals work?"
I don't much appreciate the tone of your voice there, mister. I just came in from the streets looking to see who was holding that there fiddle.
Oh, well, yes, that would be me. I am the best fiddle player in not just this little place, not just New Mexico territory, but, quite frankly, the entire West. Now, if you want to get a performance, you can come back if these folk figure out how to actually turn the boards at all. Doubt that'll be possible. At this point, you see Cameron she's rubbing her forehead and she turns to the rest of the actors and is talking with them a little bit as Jim is paying more attention to you.
I think you might be mistaken there. I came to the sound of the most horrible, wretched music I've ever heard and ended up at your doorstep.
He looks at you and says, I suppose there's no accounting for taste. Especially when there's somebody who has such, clearly has not heard good fiddle playing in their life.
Son, think you might just be stepping into the high water there.
He looks at you a bit, condescendingly and says, Friend, I have been on this earth for almost 97 years. I'm not going to be called a son by a little pipsqueak like you.
Well, in those 97 years, it's a damn shame you never learned how to play the fiddle.
He looks you up and down for a second and says, You think you can do better? Better than me?
Oh, I know I can do better. Tell you what, I'm putting on a show tonight. Me and my boy Bonesaw are gonna be throwing a little play. Why don't you come stop by, see what a real fiddle player can do?
Very well. Let's see what you could possibly do. Besides, it's not like you're going to be... Anybody who could be just traveling through could possibly be better than me. Good luck.
I look forward to seeing you weeping in the audience. Good day.
Jim gives you just this condescending smile. It's the look of, 1,000, people who are just way out of their depth on stuff, that think that they know exactly what they're talking about. Jim turns back to the chatting group. It appears that Cameron is, doing some directing, what you would expect for a director of some kind, and Jim just snaps a couple of times, taps his fiddle, and says, "Come along, let's see if you can manage to not trip over your own hooves again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he goes into this fiddle solo, and Cameron begins singing, and it is, frankly, it's a beautiful song. You turn and walk out, having met the biggest asshole in... Well, one of the biggest assholes in town. There's competition for it.
There's a bit of one. Who's that Blackburn fella?
There's a lot. Quite a few.
Also, he does kind of bear a little bit of a resemblance from the short round game that we took a peek at. Is that something that... it looks close. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Would Maz have noticed something like that?
Give me a straight intelligence check.
Okay.
8.
Maz is not very smart.
Unfortunately, you're not sure. He could be. He was a gnome. All of the people on the board were some form of small folk, and hard to tell.
Got it. Alright, well, I'll be making my exit then.
Okie doke. You head out, the fiddle playing, and from what you can tell, it does sound really good. It is... It is very good, but you're better than that. Obviously, you're better than that.
Damn right.
Make a wisdom save for me.
Oh, boy.
10? Perfect. That's exactly what you needed.
Oh, great.
You hear a bit of whispering at the edge of your hearing. It's a voice you're a bit familiar with. And it's just cackling. Yes, yes, yes. We can take him. We can deal with him. I know we can. But you don't feel compelled to do anything about it at the moment.
Okay. Well, what time of day is it?
A little afternoon.
Little afternoon. Okay. I guess I'll try and reunite with Bonesaw then.
Okay. Last you heard Bonesaw, he was heading north, and you start to head north, and you see Bonesaw coming down south, wearing his mask. He definitely looks a little bit bulked up, and you get a chance to meet up with him as you prepare to go do the show. We're going to jump a little bit into the past, as Bonesaw, you just finished up having a nice little talk with Jesse. A conversation that definitely was a bit tense. Seemed like there was about to come to blows, but both of you walked away, Jesse stepping aside, giving you a large bow as he did.
Bonesaw has already forgotten. He's ignoring him. He won this little exchange, if I remember correctly, because Jesse was the one who stepped aside. So, toodaloo! See you at my show later! Bonesaw, I think, would like to seek out Terrence, and hopefully Clarence, if he's around.
You actually see, as you're heading north, you see Terrence heading north towards the train station.
Oh, Terrence, dear. Yes, hello.
He doesn't hear you. You have to he's halfway towards the train station by the time you spotted him.
Okay. Bonesaw will break into a little jog and try to catch up.
You catch up to him just as he is approaching the train station. He looks to you as you're calling out to him and says, "Bonesaw, wasn't it?"
That's right.
I was hoping to speak with you before you left town.
Oh, I know. I thought I'd track you down. I had a couple of questions, and it sounded like you did too.
He nods. Just as a reminder, Terrence was the one who had spotted Bonesaw slipping Carter the supplies. One of the Pinkerton agents, wearing an overcoat, he carries a lantern and a gun at his side, has close-cropped, grayed hair. He looks over as you approach and says, "Come over here. Let's have a little talk, shall we?"
Oh, a sneaky talk. All right.
He steps over next to what appears to be a large horse corral. Several horses are wandering around, eating at hay. One donkey just kind of plumps by. He looks at them for a good solid minute. "Don't know if you heard. Received a telegram from the Albuquerque office.
Oh?
Seems there was a little accident on Carter's train about 60 miles west of Albuquerque."
Well, that just sounds irresponsible. We got him so far.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's very irresponsible, you know. It's a shame that he got away. And he kind of scratches his forehead. The funny thing is, it happened after you all finished getting him away. After the Pinkertons, well, we were actually done. Our part of the job was finished. Finito, he was turned over to the railroad just as we were contracted to do.
Isn't that nice?
Well, it certainly makes it hard for them to throw any blame at us or all of you.
Sorry, I haven't got all day. I've got a show to put on. I know you're trying to do this machismo, like I'm going to double speak and all of... Can you just... What do you want? I need to put up posters.
Let me give you a nickel's worth of free advice. You are quick and subtle. Frankly, if I had tried anything yesterday, would have ended up with a whole lot of folk dead on nothing more than my word and what I thought I saw. I'm not willing to take that kind of risk, especially not when there's innocent folk likely to get hurt. Recommend if you're going to be taking any sort of those kinds of risks, you don't do it in front of folk who are liable to fly off the handle. Like I said, I don't know what I saw. Maybe you were just giving him a letter to deliver. Maybe you were giving him a bomb.
Maybe you had a bit of dust in your eye.
Quite so. But I'm just giving you a warning. I've got my eye on you, friend. Terrence and our friend Avery, they are much quicker to fire a gun at somebody. Much more willing to take self-assuredness that if they say that somebody was breaking the law, that everybody should believe them. I don't hold truck with that. I believe there needs to be evidence, and I didn't have none.
Are you detaining me?
Just giving you some friendly advice.
All right. Well, that's nice.
Not everybody out here follows the law the way they should.
Do you know where Clarence is?
He nods back at the railroad station and says, he's over there talking about getting his ticket to Tucson. He needs to go back and have words with the higher-ups. Don't believe he's leaving till tomorrow, though.
All right. Well, you should come see my show. We're probably going tonight. Definitely make it there. Thanks for the advice, I suppose.
Take care of yourself, Mr. Bonesaw.
Toodaloo.
He gives you a pat on the shoulder and walks away.
That was strange.
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. 12.
As you're watching him walk down the street, suddenly something cold and metallic bumps your arm, and you whip around just in time to see this weird automaton horse made out of plates of metal screwed together. Weird sort of creature. Steam hissing out from one area, one of its plates kind of folding off. It has come up and bumped you and kind of nuzzling at you.
Is anyone riding it?
Nope.
Is it loose in the street?
Nope, it's in the paddock.
Oh! Is anyone around the paddock who looks like they own the paddock?
An unattended horse.
If it were in the street, I swear I would just grab it. I would just go.
You see, the corral is kind of a communal. Anybody who wants to board their horses here can. A lot of people in town do. However, as it turns around and walks away, you see one of the plates on its hindquarters reads Schweitzer Incorporated.
Oh, I must have that horse. I don't know who that is, or if they're worth making enemies with, but I ought to try to find them first, he says to himself. Schweitzer. All right. He's gonna go look for Clarence.
Yeah, if you tried stealing that horse, I doubt it'd be very hard to track you down, seeing as it's a very unique creature.
Nah. I need to replace my horses, though.
Yeah.
That would be a nice horse to have.
For sure.
You go inside the railroad station and you see Clarence there. The second Pinkerton, older man, constantly smoking, big bushy mustache. He appears to be having an argument with the stage master. He's a older man as well, wearing some very thin glasses, wrinkled, face set in a perpetual scowl, kind of bent over, a very kind of Scrooge-esque looking person, walking with a slight limp on his left side. They appear to be arguing over ticket prices.
Bonesaw will wait until it looks like the argument is resolved, rather than inserting himself.
Is Bonesaw feeling okay?
No, I know. it's rare for him, but...
After a minute or so, Clarence says, Fine, Cornelius, I'll pay $2 for a ticket. What is this coming to? And he pays Cornelius the money and grabs a ticket. And as Clarence turns around, he kind of gives a start and says, "Oh, it's you."
Yes! The man who saved your hide the other day! I thought you probably owe me a favor, and I thought that you could be a part of my show. I noticed you have some rotten teeth. Do you want to come get your teeth pulled in front of a crowd?
Excuse me, I don't have any rotten teeth. And he puts a hand in front of his face.
You definitely do. I'm a doctor. I can tell. Just by looking, just by smelling.
Wow.
Cornelius is tottering off to the other room. Doesn't seem to be paying you any mind. Give me a diplomacy check. 11. Clarence does not look too happy about this, and he says, "If I say yes, will you leave me alone?"
Oh, certainly.
Fine, I'll come see this damn show. Keep any other people from getting into trouble.
It'll be good for you. I promise. They won't hurt nearly as much after.
You see him grinding his teeth in frustration, but says, "Fine, whatever, just leave me alone."
See you later.
You step out and start heading south, passing the various paddocks. You see a large half-orc woman with a bloody apron, wearing a yellow hat kind of flopped forward, just hefting a calf over one shoulder in the cow pens. And just as you're heading south, you see Moz coming up north.
Oh, perfect. Moz, I haven't had really a chance to touch base, but I was thinking we could do a show tonight.
Yes, absolutely. I need to teach someone some manners.
Oh, that's very good, very good. I thought I'd have to convince you a bit more.
No show's going down tonight, mark my words.
Excellent. I'm going to see if I can't get the wagon in better shape by then. I don't know if you could cast mending on the sign, just make it look a little prettier.
Oh, now what happened to the wagon?
Well, I think something burned it.
Oh, I wonder how that happened. Yeah, we'll go down there and we'll take a little peek. I'll see what I can do. Just get my fingers warmed up for the show tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mozzie dear.
We walk down the street and Moz takes another look at the wagon that he definitely did not singe slightly. Ooh. Yeah, that's gonna be, yep. Alright, I'm, see what I can do.
Yes, I'm going to have to replace Andrew and William Wallace, too. Bonesaw looks sadly at the two sticky piles. I did see a really cool mechanical horse. I don't know, Schweitzer? Have you heard anything around town?
Just, maybe don't get from the Blackburns. I might have, had a close call with one of them and horses and the like.
That squirrely little fellow with the terrible energy.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. We I encountered him in the street. He's going to come to the show tonight. Isn't that wonderful?
It's fantastic. I'll see what I can do about this door here. I'm gonna go ahead and... Is mending
I believe it's a cantrip. You'll be able to repair most of the small pieces. You're not going to be able to repair the entire wagon. That's the kind of thing that takes, like, a lot of time and effort. I believe you can do, like, one object up to 1 pound per level, so you can do something that's 8 pounds.
Yeah.
So you could do, like, you could clean up the outside of it a little bit and, like, fix up the sign.
Yeah, I'll get it presentable for the show.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily like ready for long travel.
Yeah,
Needs to be a set
perfect.
piece. We don't want to be sending the wrong message.
Yeah, it takes you about 10 minutes.
Spruce it up.
While Maz is working on it, Bonesaw's gonna go inside, rummage around a bit, and grab his identification so he can check back in with Terry later.
Where does he keep his identification?
It's in his secret area.
The one that I did not roll high enough to find.
Would Maz take notice of this secret compartment as he's magically repairing the outside?
Maybe? Wanna roll a perception?
Yeah,
it's
roll-
probably less than normal.
Yeah, normally it's...
Bonesaw's getting in there.
I'm going to say it's a DC 20 because
Okay.
he's actively engaged with the stuff.
My perception's pretty terrible anyway, so I don't expect this to...
28.
Wow.
Yeah, so you actually see... You see as Bonesaw opens up the wagon.
He goes inside, he goes over to, like, his liquor cabinet, and he reaches behind one of the bottles to a little switch, and, like, it clicks, and the cabinet swings open a little bit, and there's an area behind that he kind of opens up, riffles around, takes something out, puts in his pocket, and then closes the whole thing up.
Wow, I think Maz would have found that sooner, given how it's in the liquor cabinet and all.
So, here's the thing. You open that up, Bonesaw, and it's empty.
No.
There's nothing inside there.
Holy shit! Okay! Bonesaw will stare at it for a minute, and then he'll put his hand inside and, like, feel around, like that's gonna make things appear, and then he's gonna quickly close it, come over to Maz and say, "Did you go through my things?
No.
I am missing some things, and they are not here."
You're gonna have to be more specific. You also happen to be missing 2 horses at the front of your vehicle, but I don't think that's what you're so worked up about.
More important things, Maz. Have you been in the secret area behind the liquor cabinet at all?
There's a secret area behind the liquor cabinet? Are you keeping the fancy alcohol from me? Damn it, I knew it, Bones!
I have kept not a single drop from you, I promise. I don't know where... I mean, where might it... It's not like it could just disappear.
That's a thinker.
Listen, can I leave you with the cart? I need to find Jasper and Myra. They might know something.
Fine by me.
Myra and Jasper, you've been told that your next place to go to in this quest to recover Myra's memory was to go talk with the Grimestone Mining Company.
And I think Desmond was the name.
Vi Desmond.
Vi Desmond.
As you're walking, you come to the building that says Grimestone Mining on the top. Underneath it says land contracts, mineral purchasing, claims for land, basically.
Before we go inside, can I ask Jasper something?
Sure.
So, Jasper, you had said that there were a few people associated with these folks that if you saw them, you would most likely open fire on them. Is that correct?
That is correct. I do not think that they are. I do not think that they are regular employees of the Grimestone Mining Company, but they might be contractors.
Okay. Let's go in there and check. If you see something that needs a bullet in them, tip your hat to me. We'll scurry out, and I'll get that bastard when they're walking out.
Fair enough. Now, has Myra explained anything about missing memories to Jasper?
You were there when we traded it to West Glen.
Oh, okay. I thought this was something to do with backstory. Okay.
Mm-mm. No, just one little thing is missing.
All right. Then you, Blake, had mentioned something about in this quest to get Myra's memory back. How is this supposed to address getting her memory back? Just fulfilling the promise to Westglen?
Yes.
We talk to them, we get them to negotiate to lower their iron prices down.
Okay.
So that way the railroads will be able to build around it without having to pay too much money.
Correct. And the only thing Jasper had against that was it didn't sound... He felt he had done his duty to Westglen, but Keith or Jasper didn't realize that Myra's memory return was contingent upon this. So now he's vested.
Yeah.
Before it was like, why do I care about your dealings with where you put your railroad? I just came to give you a warning. But, no, now that I know that it has direct repercussions, my good friend Myra, sure, I'm in.
Myra will remember that.
Am I in the right place or am I one block south?
It's actually right across the way. You see one side that says Grimestone Mining Warehouse, and it has a weird, eerie green glow coming from inside.
Huh.
Across the way, though, you see this, what appears to be the offices of Grimestone Mining. It's a rather small building, especially compared to the Arcanium Industries building right next to it. A squat little shack that looks recently built. It looks very fresh, very new. As you're preparing to walk inside, Myra, something strikes you, and something feels awry in your mind. You're thinking about it, and you're trying to remember. You remember when you were small, back on the homestead. Your father sitting there, teaching you to shoot. Set up some bottles on a fence post some distance out, and you're plinking away with this small rifle. And you hear a call coming from the house. Sup is ready.
Oh, hold on just a darn minute, this stupid bottles. She's frustrated with one in particular that's the farthest away. And she's hell-bent on shooting that bottle down before she goes anywhere, even if it takes all night. So she doesn't move, and she's still aiming at that bottle way off in the distance. Paw, it's not working. Damn it.
It's alright, little Sting. You just need to lay down.
Ugh.
Look down. Let out all your breath.
I did that.
Don't pull. Just squeeze the trigger. There's nothing between you and the bullet. There's nothing between that bullet and that bottle.
She fires off a shot.
It strikes the bottle and it shatters.
Yeah, done, gummit. Yes, finally, cat.
That's
Frickin-
my girl, little Sting.
Yeah.
Now come on. Listen to your... And the memory fades. And you realize... You don't remember what happened after that.
Imagine she's stopped walking and she's kind of shaking her head. Does she kind of get that this was... Does she connect the dots, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay. She doesn't remember what happened afterwards. Does she remember the person?
When she tries to focus on the person,
Mm-hmm.
she can see around the person. She knows the feelings that she feels when she looks at that person. She knows the feelings, the scent of the person, the warmness of the person. But there's a person-sized hole in that particular memory.
She rubs her head, and she gets frustrated and angry, and she's like, damn it. Let's just go in. And she's in a inexplicably bad mood from this point onward.
Jasper's not too observant on reading whatever emotions might pass on a decidedly non-human face.
Yeah, hard to read a snake's face.
But I did hear the muttered curse before you open that door. You sure you got your head on right?
Yeah, of course I have my head on right. What? Sorry.
All right. Well, we're going into negotiations. As far as I know, we have not been given any kind of bargaining tool to get him to lower the price of steel, have we? Do we have a strategy?
No, Damn it. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble thinking. Listen, if we go in and we talk to them... Oh, I don't know. I guess if we have to get them to lower the cost of their steel, maybe we can do a job for them that possibly buys some steel for them.
Do you think that memory's that important to you? He's looking you right in the eye.
Would you quit it, Jasper? Jesus Christ. And she goes inside. She's being very tsundere.
I guess women folks the same all over.
As Myra steps inside, she sees a very simple... It appears to be a very Spartan type building. It's not glamorous like the Blackburns. It is simple. There's a desk, a little fireplace off to one side, 2 chests, and what appears to be a safe in one corner. And sitting at the table, on a much higher chair than normal, you see a small kobold.
Hey.
Red and yellow scales adorning their body. She has 2 horns coming back, dressed in a black suit with some gold lapels coming down. Very, very fancy suit. Kind of more than you would expect, from what you're seeing around, being very austere. Her tail is holding up a ingot of something that she's examining as she's just eating this big plate of chicken, the big old roasted chicken with a fork and knife, the knife and kind of scraping loudly as she peels up the chicken as eating it. Just...
Excuse me, miss, sorry to interrupt your meal. Should we come back at a different time, or?
No. Come on in. Go ahead.
Okay.
She wipes her mouth with a silk handkerchief and sets it aside. Sets down the fork and knife and pushes the thing back. Sets down the ingot. What can I do for you? You looking to buy? You looking to sell?
Well, we're looking for somebody named Vi Desmond.
Oh, you found her.
Tip my hat.
I'm the expert in these parts. I know every single geological deposit from here to Flagstaff. I've got all the knowledge right up here. What are you looking for?
Actually, we're here on account of the railroad. They had sent us to... I think there was a deal with some iron you were supplying with them, and they've been asking about a discount for some of the iron you've been sending them. I'm not quite sure the particular details, but they had sent us to kind of help sort this out.
She sits and nods for a second.
That's a great way to introduce yourself. Somebody else wants you to give them free shit.
She smiles just a little too wide. It's that very toothy smile of a kobold. And she says, a little errand boy for that Wilmington, huh? And he sent you to get a discount.
He had told us that there was some deal made beforehand where there was a shipment you were supposed to send or something like that. Myra's not doing great. She's not thinking straight. She's irritated. She's sinking in this water.
Well, I see. Vi hops down from the chair and steps over to one of the chests, opens it up, and pulls out a gem, sets it to the side, pulls out 3 large ingots of gold and just sets them aside. Pulls out a couple of silvery ingots that are glittering. Leans in, almost falling into the chest as she leans over. And then pulls up a large ledger. and brings it over, climbs back on the chair, sets it down, opens it up, and starts going through. Now, as I'm sure Willington knows, we're not exactly in the business of giving out discounts for iron, especially not to somebody that is as big of an asshole as he is. Now me, if it were entirely up to me, I would say, no way. Deal's a deal. They get the steel for the number that they get. They know that. We're not exactly in the business of offering up aluminum for high prices, if you know what I mean.
Understood.
Now, the thing is, I've had a little bit of an issue lately with some of my miners. They're not wanting to work. They're claiming that the mine that they're in is haunted. There's some issue. There's something attacking them in the mines. I don't believe a word of it. I think that they're trying to gold brick me a little bit, get a little bit of extra money out of me for protection. The only thing that the mine supervisor was willing to say said something about jackrabbits. Jackrabbits attack. Which, what does that even mean? It's a fucking jackrabbit. If they can't handle a jackrabbit, then what is even the point?
Myra looks at Jasper.
Sounds like you could be dealing with jackalopes. One of the most dangerous creatures in the West.
A jackalope.
Now,
jackalope.
Miss...
You think... Now you're starting to sound exactly like the fucking manager. That's what he was saying. Oh, it's a jackalope. Jackalopes, big old antlered creatures. Gave me this. And she pulls a card out of one of the pages of the ledger and shows it to you. Fella gives me this card, says that looks exactly like this with horns. What am I supposed to do with that? Huh?
I would like to make some kind of, perhaps a knowledge roll that might give me some insight on this, maybe?
Same. I would also
Absolutely.
like to contribute.
Both of you give me a knowledge planes or knowledge local.
Okay, I have local.
I'm skilled in neither, but I can roll on either.
Actually, knowledge nature would also work.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Bam.
Hey, we're knowledgeable. Got the
Look
good
at the
book
two of
learning.
you!
Awesome.
25 for Myra, too.
Okay, a couple of things. The card that you're looking at is, both of you know that this is a specialized type of tarot reading that is sometimes found amongst the population out west. And this particular card is called the Rabbit Prince. It displays a rabbit wearing the regalia of a very rich person having a broken sword. What you know, Myra, from local, you also know that the stories of jackalopes are very common. They are rabbits with antlers that appear every once in a while. There isn't really any record of them being dangerous. They just appear and disappear at random. Pretty much every town out west has these stories. The only examples that have been found are taxidermied examples that have been faked from what you have heard. Mm-hmm. Jasper, what you know is that jackalopes, while they are real, they are very uncommon. They tend towards areas with a lot of Fey influence, particularly. They've been seen more often on the fringes of natural Fey influence areas. And particularly the Rabbit Prince, you know, is actually a real figure in the Fey culture. The Rabbit Prince is real and walks around and exists. But he has not been seen anywhere in the West before.
Well, I done heard of jackalopes.
I know of this here feller, but I can't say as I have ever laid eyes upon him. You're dealing with the Fae. Now, is it Miss Desmond or Mrs. Desmond?
Ms. Desmond. I'm not exactly looking around for anybody right now.
All right. Ms. Desmond, let me give you a little contextualizing here as to what might be going on. Sounds like your mind might have some problems with the Fae, which means that you have something in common with your purchaser, who also has a bit of a problem with the Fae. So it's hopefully we can kill two birds with one stone here. There might be increased Fae presence in this here area due to the fact that the railroad has recently pushed into the edges of a Fae incursion. Area of the leak, First World is leaking through, somewhat south of here. We had some encounters with them, which is the whole reason why we got involved with this here mess in the first place. The railroad is looking for a slightly cheaper price on steel, and I'll tell you why. They're going to need to shift their lines a bit, and that's going to take a bit more steel than they had originally bargained for. I have a feeling that if the railroad can move itself just a few miles to the east or west, it is likely that there will be less Fae presence around here. Now, I can't say for sure that this here Rabbit Prince feller is involved with the Fae incursion to the south of here. Which direction are your mines?
They're a bit further west of us. About half a day's ride out west.
All right. Well, I can't say for sure that these two problems are directly involved, but I have a feeling that solving one might help solve the other. And if you'd be willing to knock down 10% on that their price you got on the contract, I think you might be able to convince me and my folk to take a look at this here problem you got with your mine, maybe help clear it up some. Does that sound interesting to you at all?
She considers for a minute and starts flicking through the book. Give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy +0. 16?
16, that's good. It was pretty easy, and I was giving you a decent bonus. That was good negotiating. She considers and says, all right, tell you what. You go figure out what's going on with this mine. Get rid of the whatever this is, and tosses the card. Get that mine open and operating again. I think we might be able to bring a price down and work something out.
Well...
Sounds like we might have ourselves a deal. I'll stick my hand out. I won't spit in it, because I can't.
Did you want me to volunteer some spit? I think I got some. It might be poisonous, though.
I was about to say, I look at her fangs and say, don't quite think that's probably a good idea, actually, for either of us, because I don't think my bite's none too good neither, so... I think a handshake will do.
Vi shakes on it and says, all right, that sounds like a plan. Oh, and if you happen to find anything or anybody else down there, just make sure they know that it's the Grimestone Mining Company that hired you to take care of all this.
We've made sure to make ourselves known that we are a third-party contractor to not bring back any backlash or trouble, but if you want us to fully represent you, then by all means.
Yeah, fully represent us to anybody other than this whatever this is. If you run into anybody who might be of interest.
Okay, well, we'll do our best. I mean, we may. I don't know how friendly they're gonna be, but if it's a Fae prince, I'm not sure if Grimestone Mining Company means anything to them.
Yeah, well...
I do have a quick question. As she was pulling out all of these things, the gem and the contract, and particularly the ledger, I would like to make a surreptitious perception roll to see if I might find or see anything that might lead me to connect them with the no-count lazy darn polecats what shot me in the gut and left me to die.
What languages do you speak?
I speak English, Apache, French, and Spanish.
Cool.
Okay. I would say about 50% of it is written in English. It appears to be most of the ledger information, most of the important information. However, you see a large chunk of it written in a script that you do not recognize. Give me a perception check.
19.
Oof. Unfortunately, as she was flipping through it, you did not notice anything in particular that stood out to you. You think that a closer examination might give you more information, but just as she was like trying to find the page, you did not notice anything.
All right. Well, we two are on board. I got to present this to the rest of our crew, and we'll probably be back to get the particulars about exactly where the mine is and who we need to talk to.
All right, take your time. I've got all the time in the world. Going searching them thar hills for gold, aluminum ore, maybe chasing up a few random rumors. You always know how it is. I once heard that a fella nearby actually ran into some trefoil vietas a few years back. Ain't that something?
Myra looks immediately at Jasper.
Jasper is frozen. Really? That's an interesting story.
You're telling me.
Where was it?
What happened to this here feller?
To the fellow who found it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people I talked to a while back. You know how people get. They get into their cups and they start drinking. And then they think, oh, I'm gonna start spouting off legend as if it were true.
Who?
That is an interesting story.
Yeah, do you know who was talking about it?
Vi looks at you a bit curious, like, it's just a story. I'd have to...
Well, I'm a bit of an amateur botanist myself, and I'd be interested in asking whereabouts this might have happened. If you can give me an idea who to talk to.
Your first step, you could start talk to all the folk in El Dorado, if you know what I mean. She laughs, and then kind of seeing both of you, like, serious face, she kind of says, alright, look, I don't remember who it is. If you give me some time, I could maybe figure out who I was talking to, but look, there's a lot more riches in the mountains than some made-up fairy tale. I can tell you that much.
Well, you might be surprised. I kind of tend to deal in that sort of stuff. Ma'am, it's been a real interesting time talking to you. And if you can supply me with the names of some fellas that might help me track that feller down, I would appreciate it.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
Might even make it worth your while.
I'll see what we can do. And she continues, if you have any sort of gold or silver that you find, let me know. Mithril. I even buy some adamantine if you can find it, but tough to find around these parts.
I'm more vegetable than mineral searching.
Well, good luck to you.
Myra has a few adamantine bullets, and she actually pulls 2 out, and she just leaves them on the desk, and she's like, just to show good faith.
Jesus, okay. Vi looks like, holy shit, as you leave them, and she picks one up and, like, scratches it with one of her claws, takes the knife and, like, scrapes at the bullet a little bit, bites it. I'm gonna stick around with you. I might make a pretty penny working with you folk.
We're just, we're very good contractors. We do our best. And she tips her hat.
Jasper turns as if he is on a pivot and very stiffly walks out of the office.
Myra follows him out, and then she goes, okay, now it's my turn to ask you if you're doing okay.
Jasper is kind of looking at the building, and he just mutters, wonder where I could find a whole case of dynamite. As to whether my head is on right, I tell you what, I need a distraction, and I need to feel like I'm doing something good in this world. You in for a quick task?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I had your back in there, and I'm glad that you're here to have mine, because what I plan right now might be a little bit dangerous.
Oh, we've gone well past danger at this point.
Come on, Smokey, and I'm going to lead Myra and Smokey across town to the farrier's shop.
I'm so curious. Yes. Why do you want dynamite? What are you going to
It's gonna be fun.
Why is it dangerous?
Whatever it is, it's gonna be great.
What is Jasper doing?
I'm here for it.
You all make your way across town. You're walking and you hear the ring of ting, ting, ting metal coming from inside before you see another large minotaur step out. This fella, unlike Duke Van Horn that you met, much rougher, has scars across his face, lots of piercings, 2 very large menacing horns, a small goatee. He's also wearing much heavier leathers, stands taller, and he's wielding a hammer and what appears to be several sets of horseshoes that he's been hammering out as he dunks it into the water trough outside.
Mr. Steelhand, I presume?
That's right. What can I do for you?
Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name's Jasper Graves. This here is Myra, and this here is Smokey. I got a couple of jobs for you if you're interested in. One's pretty simple. The other one might be a wee bit unusual. The simple job here is that, Smokey's getting a little long in the hoof. Now, she's got special shoes that I would like to retain, but it's been a while since she last had a trim. So I would appreciate it if you could fit it into your schedule to take care of her. I know she'd be a lot more comfortable. As for the second, how hot does your forge get? I know you can melt iron. Can you melt steel? Only a couple 100 degrees hotter, if I remember correctly.
He looks at you, and his eyebrow kind of quirks up and says,
First part's no problem. I can take care of the horse quite easily and maintain it.
Excellent.
As far as how hot this gets, I can get it to white hot, but melting is a bit of a big ask. I could maybe manage it. What do you need it for?
Well, I do need something destroyed. Might not need to be melted. You gotta. Let me ask you. You got a long-handled pair of tongs there. I think we're gonna need them.
Myra's busting, elbowing his side. Is Jasper? Jasper, what are we doing?
Just bear with me a moment here. I don't want to.
I'm fine for blowing things up, but I'd like to know what we're doing before we blow it up.
Well, this ain't no blown up. It has nothing to do with what we just went through. Don't worry about that. Thank you for the tongs, Mr. Steelhand. Smokey, come near. Open up Smokey's saddlebag. Reach in with the long-handled tongs, and I'm going to pull out Thundering Stallion.
Yes!
Fuldar...
You can sell that!
He looks a bit cross at all of this. He handed you the tongs. He does not look too happy and says, if you're trying to destroy evidence, you're not going to be able to do that in here, I'm afraid.
It's
Oh, good lord.
That.
No.
It's not evidence.
Let me give you a little background here. No, this is not evidence, although it has probably been used to murder a great number of folks. This here weapon is cursed.
I know it sounds crazy.
It has a way of taking over.
But it's real.
Yeah, you're welcome to have any kind of a caster in here to confirm that if you want, but no one should touch this thing. It is just plumb evil. And if you don't want to melt it down, or if you think it might not be possible given that it is enchanted, if we can just get it hot enough to where you could just bust up the barrel with a couple of sharp blows of a hammer, just to make the dang thing unusable.
When you mention the magic and that it's cursed, Fuldar spits on the ground and says, fucking magic users bringing all this shit around.
You got no argument from me.
Messing with good steel and making it this hunk of junk. Fine, get in here. Let's see what we can do.
Thank goodness. All right. And I will, holding the tongs at arm's length.
Like a uranium rod.
The gun pointed as down as I can make it point.
Does it still have bullets in it?
I was about to bring that up. Now it probably does have some bullets in it. And again, don't touch this damn
don't touch
thing.
It. We're serious. We mean it.
Yeah. I've seen a good number of lives almost ruined by this cursed piece of steel. But I don't know. If you got some tools, maybe we can just kind of poke them bullets out. Cock the hammer back, pull the pin, let the revolver barrel swing down and push him out with a poker.
Give me an acrobatics check.
Ooh, acrobatics.
Great acrobatics.
I'll help you. I am +3.
Oh
no, Myra.
I have great acrobatics.
How does the help action work here?
You roll the same check. You have to hit a DC of 10 to be able to give her +2.
And I'm so nimble too.
Well, it did that, so you're at an 11 now. Which is almost what I would have rolled.
Yeah, fortunately, it's about this time. You guys are involved in this very weird contortionist. Fuldar's trying to, no, right there, no, like that, and you need to, and no, careful, don't get too close to that, and Myra, you're trying to poke
your head!
And it's right about this time that Moz and Bonesaw walk in, just as like 3 bullets fall to the ground.
I'm not sure if Bonesaw ever took that remove curse.
Oh, beg pardon!
It's not what it looks like.
I whip around with the gun to my back and say, nothing!
Absolutely nothing.
That's not suspicious at all! Fortunately, I have other things to ask you about. Have either of you been in my stuff?
No?
Your stuff? What, in your wagon?
I'm not going to get mad if you took it, I just want them back.
I'll be honest, I did go looking around your wagon, but I didn't take anything.
And I've only sat on top or in the front seat. I ain't never been inside, to my knowledge. But to answer your question directly, no, I didn't take nothing from your wagon.
All right. Well, if you happen to see a bundle of letters and some photographs, then just let me know. They seem to be misplaced.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep a sharp eye out. Yep. Don't worry. We're on it.
What's that behind your back
Oh,
there?
it's we're getting some horseshoes.
Roll bluff.
Is that a bluff?
I'm
Yeah.
having Smokey reshod.
Roll bluff against sense motive
I got a
for
29.
Moz and...
Oh, damn it. I'm sorry. I should not have opened my mouth.
I can't. 6. I don't have a gun behind my back.
Oh no.
Bonesaw, you know exactly what's going on. Moz, you don't really believe Jasper, but Myra feels pretty trustworthy to you. Fuldar is just like, he's looking frustrated and a bit perturbed that there's so many people in his farrier, and he's just kind of like, okay, I'm going to need everybody to step out right now.
Sorry,
please.
is that my gun?
No, or we need to see safety. We need to get out. Go, Bonesaw. We need to leave the place and let our dear.
I'm gonna help Frog March him out.
Moz is gonna tug on Bonesaw's very large arm and just kind of lead him out, because I don't recall if Bonesaw ever took the remove curse, but
He did
Moz
not
is feeling much better
yet.
after waking
He
up.
did not yet.
Yes. Not yet.
And as we're attempting, before we're successful or not, to march Bonesaw out, Jasper is going to turn so that he is facing the blacksmith or the farrier and mouth the word curse.
Myra does little fingers, like spooky fingers, as we're going out, like, ooh.
How deep does the curse have me in its grasp right now?
It's been several days since you had it, and you actually... Moz handled the gun after you, correct?
Yeah.
Then you're actually... While you definitely still think of it as your gun, you also...
Maybe don't have a compulsion to grab it at all cost.
Yeah, no, you don't have the compulsion to grab it, and you don't have this, like, driving need to have it.
Alright, I suppose I'll wait outside, but we need to talk about the show later.
Why don't you tell me what was taken from your wagon? Just trying to distract Bones.
Yeah, that seems really urgent. Yeah, let's go looking for that.
I had some letters, just and some photographs, and I don't know, they're very helpful for me sometimes, and they're not where I left them, and I don't know why they wouldn't be there.
Well, I think I can commiserate with that. Have you searched for any clues? Seems to me that foxy-faced person was in your wagon for a bit, taking your duds.
You know, that's a very good point. Vic could have them. I don't even know where I'd start tracking her down.
Ain't Vic dead?
Oh, well, so I just heard, actually, Carter escaped.
That son of a bitch.
I didn't hear about Vic, but I assume they got out together.
How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I wonder how that happened.
Lacks people who were watching him.
Roll bluff.
Oh, and I get to roll sense motive.
Got a 16.
It's probably about as good as my bluff. Yeah, here we go. 6, yeah.
Oof.
Golf darn railroad cops.
Ooh, Myra knows. I got a 20.
Myra knows.
Yeah, Myra 100%
Clearly
knows.
they weren't as good as we were at watching him.
Yeah, because we were so really good at that.
Myra actually does not say anything. She decides to let this be a little secret because she is done with Carter. So she goes, is that so? Yeah.
Yes.
How about that?
Myra, why don't you help Bonesaw? I'm going to make sure that Smokey gets settled okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Obviously winking and with my 6.
Bonesaw will consent to being ushered outside. And he'll say, Myra, about shilling later. I was thinking we could have a little bit where we pretend that your eyesight is really bad. And then, maybe you try to shoot at a target and then it goes wildly off, but then you drink an elixir or something and you can hit it in the middle. How does that sound?
Yeah, I think I can pull that off. Oh, I had an idea for another one. It's where you convince someone who is supposed to be put in jail actually escapes because you were directly responsible for it. I think that would be a blast. Don't you think?
Maz is right there too, right? Did Maz come out or did he stay in?
Yeah, I would have left. I'm trying to get you away from the cursed gun.
Okay, so we're all 3 outside.
Oh, so Maz is there?
Maz is
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
She'll wait until Maz is out of hearing shot. Like if they go back to the wagon or something, she'll let that one loose. Just to be sassy, because she's feeling like it.
I don't think that would make good for good show material. Actually, it's not very visually appealing and sort of abstract. I don't quite know how we'd portray that.
I'm just teasing. And honestly, I had made a kind of a deal, sort of, with him when I first met him.
What?
I have absolutely no legs to stand on when it comes to keeping secrets, so. But I'm just saying, I know what you did. You can't lie to me. I got eagle eyes.
I have a question. Do you happen to know what a US brand on someone might signify?
U.S.? Like the United States?
Oh, that could be it, yes. I saw it on Terry, but he didn't seem to want to talk about it when I asked.
You can roll knowledge local if you want.
Yes.
14. You get a little bit of information about this. You don't get the full thing. What you know is that, at least for horses, the U.S. brand is usually used to signify a horse that is owned by the United States government. You also know that there were times that it was accused that it was put on Confederate prisoners of war, particularly Centaur prisoners of war.
Where'd you say you saw this?
Oh, it was on Terry Roberts, the mailman.
Oh. Well, it seems he must have been a Confederate prisoner of war at one point. They used to brand centaurs, specifically centaurs, with that brand.
Maybe that's why he was so tetchy. Well, I've lost all form of identification for myself. I wonder if you could vouch for me with him, like sharpshooter to sharpshooter?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. But we should definitely try to find your stuff regardless. Do you want to look around the wagon for any sort of hints first? Or we can just go to the mail person and see if that'll work.
Why don't we head to the wagon? Mars has been working on some things. We might be able to pick up some clues. That's very smart. I didn't even think to look. I'm so glad that you're all here to do this sort of thinking things, you know?
Myra's like, oh, yeah, totally. And yeah, we're the smart ones. And she just remembers their entire, negotiation with the Grimestone Mining Company, their excuses they came up with to try to deter Bonesaw from seeing the gun. Yep, we're the smart ones.
Around this time, Jasper, you've stepped back inside. Fuldar, he looks a little bit nervous about this whole thing. He's gripping the hammer back and forth, and it's a big hammer. It would be a sledgehammer for most people, but he's able to hold it in one hand pretty easily. And he says, "All right, I've stoked it as hot as it can get. If you want to toss it in, it's going to take a little while to heat up something like that. If you want to go and come back later, I'll take care of it."
I'd like to watch if you don't mind. I just want to see this damn thing taken from the face of the earth. But if you think it's going to take, a lot longer than that, here, let me do two things for you. First of all, I don't know what the cost for shoeing is, but I think the cost for getting rid of a cursed item is worth at least, 50 gold?
He looks surprised when you say this and says, it's a lot. I honestly, for $10, I would be happy to do it and shoe the horse.
Well, all right then. Then
Aww.
$10 it'll be. You tucked yourself down. And the other thing, because I know you're nervous about this, you can see the effect it had on my friend out there. If you got some paper, some ink, I'd be happy to put down in writing exactly what this deal was and sign my name to it. Because I know you were a little nervous about getting rid of evidence and stuff like that, but I swear to you, this is all on the up and up, and I'm willing to put my name to paper on it.
He looks a little bit embarrassed and scratches behind his head and says, would you write it down and yes, yeah.
I'll take care of it. I'll rustle up some paper and some ink.
Thank you.
I will take care of that, and I will leave it in your care. You're a good person.
You're the first person who said that, so
Do not touch that thing.
I won't, don't worry. And he's gonna start stoking the fire. You write out this note, and he puts an X on it at the signature field.
Figured.
And like he said, it's gonna take a while. Are you gonna leave Smokey there to get shoot after he finishes up with the gun?
Yeah, Smokey can take care of herself.
Okay.
While we're sitting there jabbering, though, I will tell this blacksmith the entire story of how Smokey and I met.
By the end of it, he says, "Really? That is absolutely fascinating."
After I tracked down Zuko's mom, then we fade to nothing.
Fantastic. Like he said, it's going to take probably several hours for the type of steel that this is to get it to the heat that it needs to be completely damaged. So he'll work on that, and you leave Smokey there. As you're going south to meet up with the rest of your group, Old Joe actually steps out and says, "I was hoping I would find you.
Hey there, Old Joe.
Your, friend, the one that was looking for you, Natan.
Natan, yeah.
I just received word. He is in town. Specifically, he is staying with some friends of ours outside of town. The Society of Friends, specifically. They have been good to us and our folk. He is willing to meet you out there whenever you are ready."
Alrighty. I will get more specific directions from him. And then say, yeah, I've got to talk to my friends here for a little bit. But yeah. Is he going to be there overnight? Maybe I'll take a toddle out there once the sun goes down and things are a bit more hospitable.
Silent Joe nods and says, "Yeah."
Alright. I think I'll make my way over to the wagon and see what's happening with the investigation.
It has occurred to me that Moz has a very good sense of smell.
Ooh. Do you have the scent feature?
No.
Because I can give it to you magically and enhance your sense of smell even more.
That would be good, yes.
We're gonna sniff him out.
Okay.
Jasper, you are arriving just as everybody else is getting ready to go do some tracking, try to see what they can track down about these missing documents.
Bonesaw has pulled out a little elixir bottle, and you see him just prick the tip of his finger and pull out just a little pinch. It smells like cinnamon just for a minute, and he kind of mixes that in with this elixir, and it glows with his signature magic, and he hands it to Maz and says, "This should help you sense things a little bit better."
The last drink you handed me made me crap black shit out of my hand.
Well, I guarantee there will only be interesting side effects.
Can't argue with that.
Moz is gonna take the bottle and inspect it closely for a little bit of time and realize, fuck it, like, there's really no getting out of this, so he downs the glass.
You should be fine. It's my mum's recipe. She calls it Bloodhound. It's very cool, very spicy name.
You take this and very quickly you're able to sense much more of the world around you. You're able to get a scent, pick up scents around. What are you tracking? How are you gonna sniff around?
So, since I technically saw the hidden compartment earlier, I figured getting the scent from that area would be the best place to start, and then I can just work my way, try and trace where it has been, and hopefully find whoever took it, assuming it was taken.
Bonesaw will go in and open it for you so you can get in there.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a survival check.
Survival check.
You get a +4, so 10. The good news is that the scent that you're able to pick up, Bonesaw's entire wagon has a very, very unique scent to it, and it takes you a minute to step outside, and you are able to pick up a trail of these letters.
Does he recognize the scent?
I mean, it smells like your wagon. It has this kind of suffused chemical and...
So he doesn't smell the person who maybe took the letters, if that's what happened.
No.
He just smells the letters themselves.
Correct. Yeah. The burning scent of kind of the charred wood has kind of overpowered a lot of the other smells, but he's able to get this thread of the wagon smells.
Okay, I guess I'll just start wandering off in the direction of where the smell's strongest.
Yeah, absolutely. You begin making your way around the base of the hotel, and as you come upon a cactus, you see stuck among the spines a piece of paper.
Bones, come here, take a look at this.
What have you got there?
Why not you tell me?
Oh,
You pick it up, and it is a letter addressed to Templeton Throckmorton.
this is... Well, you found one! Bonesaw snatches it off the cactus, folds it up, and puts it in his coat. Where are the rest of them? Do you smell them all?
Calm down, we just started. I'm working on it.
Why is it in a cactus?
You have as much information as I do, Bones.
All right.
Are there other scents?
Yep, the scent was strong there, but it seems to keep going. It goes north past Wellsfern Grip Bank. You track it until you get to the main town square. And in the main town square area, it is a cacophony of scents and smells, and you start to get overwhelmed, and you begin to lose the trail. However, you do notice on this stage that sits up there, there's like a notice board that hangs down where various bounties and notes are put up, and you see tacked onto the board a nail straight through the center of it is a portrait, and next to that is a long letter and another and another. Basically, a bunch of letters have been tacked up on this wall.
Interesting.
God damn it!
I think I might have found...
Bonesaw starts prying out the nails.
Yeah.
At this point, everybody has been able to follow.
Can we take a look at these letters?
Yeah, as he's pulling them down, you see they're addressed to Templeton Throckmorton. There's one from Corey Throckmorton, one from Artemis Throckmorton, one that is just labeled Throckmorton's Drugstore, and the one that's a portrait that has a nail driven right through the face on the portrait appears to be a half-orc, and at the bottom it reads Templeton Throckmorton. It's a very nice young half-orc, very dapper, sitting, hand in the coat, wearing a suit. It looks like the entire paper has been crumbled up and the edges have been burned a little bit.
Does this half-orc in the portrait look like they might be rather tall and gangly?
In fact, yes. They do.
Bonesaw angrily wrenches the nail out from the center of the portrait and tucks it also into his coat. And at this point, he's muttering, he's like, if I ever find out who did this, I'm going to sew their scrotum into a coin purse.
Moz is gonna kind of look up at Bones, pulling the letters off the wall, and go, Bones, was that you?
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Any idea why someone might have taken your stuff and put them on display?
I haven't the foggiest. I am the nicest person you could ever meet, and I only have friends and no enemies. Bonesaw's still taking letters down.
Moz is gonna take a deep sniff at the letters that are thrown on the wall and try and select a certain smell from it, see if he can identify something that whoever might have held it for future reference, or in case he needs to find them again. Just get an idea of who handled it, I suppose.
Jasper's going to bend down close to Maz's ear and say, while you're sniffing around, do you happen to catch any whiff of goiter?
That's probably a question the DM's going to have to answer.
In point of fact, well, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay.
Is Gorder gonna be turned into a coin purse?
That's begging the question. We have not established whether or not goiter has the requisite coin purse material.
Probably. Partially.
It's more sort of like an attachment thing. Like he gloms onto Bonesaw's being, and they sort of like share.
You're digging a hole pretty deep there with your description. So, a perception check of 17 plus 8, total of 25. You do not necessarily, like, immediately recognize who this belongs to.
Okay.
You get a whiff of tobacco, you get some dirt and blood smell from it. You get this, a very musty kind of smell, a very animalistic kind of smell about
Damn
it.
it. Jesse.
But you just got this scent ability, so you don't necessarily have a ping in your head of who this is, but you would probably be able to recognize it again if you smelled the person.
Okay.
Goiter is hugging Bonesaw's shoulder right now.
Okay. Is that all you missed?
Is everything there, Blake?
Everything is. Most of it is nailed to the wall. Some of it is kind of tossed on the ground. You see one in particular. This is by far the longest document of all of the things. It appears to be a list of some kind, as everybody can see, is set right next to the community bonfire, just close enough that it's, like, concerning that it would go in, but it's under a rock and, like, keeping it from going in. But it is like, very close that if somebody had walked by carelessly, it would have, like, flown in.
I think you might have ticked off the wrong crowd there, Bones.
What did I ever do?
Would you like me to pull up a list?
Actually, that would be quite helpful.
I've been meaning to talk to you about this leg of mine that you broke a few weeks ago.
Bonesaw goes a bit still and he says, Moz, what are you saying?
Oh, just that you happen to have a habit of leaving a less than ideal impression on people, be they friends or be they strangers.
Can Myra look around? She wants to look for a particular little shit that might be watching this.
Go ahead and roll a perception check. 23. You can tell that nobody in particular seems to be paying that close of attention. You do see, standing in front of the Lucky Strike Saloon, you see an older man in a kind of a dressy black full-length coat, a small hat with a wide brim, graying salt and pepper hair, and a white little, like, poofing piece coming out of his neck piece, kind of a poofy tie, is standing in front, and holding a sign, ringing a bell, and the sign reads, "Alcohol is the bane of all folk. Repent, sinners, ingest not that evil poison." And he's ringing the bell.
Would Myra just kind of know the name of the church in the case that she's have had to dealt with them before? Is it the church that I'm thinking of?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, you can roll a knowledge religion.
I am not trained in religion. I think she's just gonna go chat with that person real quick. She puts a hand on Bonesaw's shoulder and says, you might want to get out of sight for a little bit. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'm gonna go check something out real quick. I'll be right back. And she goes to talk to the gentleman.
All right, fine. I'm going to follow up with Mozzie about this thing where I'm not everyone's favorite person ever. You don't think Avery's still mad I tried to poison him, do you?
I think if Avery was mad at you, he'd be a little less subtle than stealing letters.
That's fair. That's fair.
Bonesaw, if it's any consolation, I don't think there's anybody that Avery is not mad at.
He's just a very angry person. It's not my fault.
If it puts you at any ease of mind, I do not recognize the scent coming off of these letters, so be knowing that I recognize too closely.
That's almost more concerning.
With an 18 knowledge religion, Maz, as Myra approaches, you recognize the general garb and what's the testament that this person is giving, that they are likely a member of the Society of Friends, one of the Quakers.
Oh, okay.
While they are very widely accepting of pretty much all comers, they accept all creeds and faiths within their society. The one thing that they really do not truck with is alcohol. They're strongly anti-alcohol.
Okay.
Think that alienates most of the party?
As Myra approaches, the man says, "Ma'am, I must implore you, do not enter this den of iniquity, for these drinks are vile, and they corrupt a person's soul down to the very core."
She kind of tilts her head. Has she met these people before?
She's probably seen them around before. Like I said, they tend to be very magnanimous folk. They have a help everybody who comes to them kind of creed.
Okay.
So probably not too negative of a view of them.
Okay. She goes and she tips her hat and she goes, "Well, I greatly appreciate the well wishes and the warning. I actually wanted to ask a question, and how long have you been sitting here watching this here town square?"
Well, I have been here for several hours trying to prevent folk from entering this place, this den where libations may be gained and the senses will be addled.
Yeah, no, I have to admit, I'm a sinner, but gee willikers, I'm trying my best to get off it, and I applaud what you're trying to do. So, but did you happen to see, there's a bunch of letters that were kind of tacked up on the board. Those were actually stolen. Did you happen to see who put those letters up on the board?
Roll diplomacy for me. It's not a hard DC, but I'm kind of using this as his perception check.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Just random person coming up and say, "Hey, did you notice this one weird thing out of all the people who went and came?"
Diplomacy of 20. He says, "Well, I did see. There appeared to be an elven fella who came through and was hanging up all of those letters. Wearing purple of some kind, I believe."
See, elf and purple. Did he smell like an asshole? Like the biggest asshole you've ever seen. Did you get the vibe of assholeness from this particular individual? Just in ballpark estimate.
He looks at you like you have just asked him the strangest question in the world.
I'm sorry. That was a bad question. What? Did you happen to see any tattoos on him by chance?
I'm afraid not, madam. I was engaged in conversation with some folk who thought that this would be a place where they would be able to receive some some rest from their travels, but I had to inform them of the dangers that lay inside. For this is the kind... And the door opens.
And he just keeps...
Yeah. And Elliot actually steps outside and says, hi there. Do you... I know you're not going to believe it. Would you like some water? I could bring you some water from inside. I think that you might... You seem thirsty. And the Quaker who's standing there is like, yes, I would quite like some water if you do not mind. And Ellie, like, oh, I'll be right back, and slithers back inside. Oh, and then sticks his head there. Oh, hi, Myra. And goes back inside.
I'm not actually going to go drink anything. I'm going to go in there to talk some sense into people about alcohol. And she goes inside. She's going to ask Elliot if she's seen Jesse Blackburn around here, or if Jesse Blackburn is in that bar currently.
Okay. You step inside, and as you look around, it's fairly quiet this time of day. You know, it's getting towards the late afternoon, but it's still, there's a couple of regulars in there. Definitely a couple of the people who are just absolutely soused. Like, they're drunk. They come here to get drunk. That's their day. Ellie, they're behind the counter, and they pull up some water, kind of stir it up, make sure there's nothing in it, get it nice and clean. And as they're going past, Myra says, hi, give me 1 second, and I'll come back and I'll get you something. And I need to take this out.
I'll take it out to him. Actually, him and I started up a conversation, so I can bring it out to him. I did want to ask real quick, did you happen to see Jesse Blackburn around sometime earlier today? Around this area?
They kind of recoil a little bit in, like, fear, and like, no, they're not, he's not, I don't like him coming in here, and he doesn't usually come in here. He usually prefers Casey's place on the other side of town. I'm not, the last time he came in here, he was trying to make trouble, and I didn't really, I needed to ask him to leave.
Does he bother you often, or I mean, are you okay? Are you safe from him?
Oh, I mean, as safe as anybody is in this town from him. He doesn't bother me that much. He doesn't have much respect for any institution in this place.
Yeah, you got that right. Well, anytime he bothers you, just let me know. I would love to have a conversation with this gentleman out in some abandoned alley or something. Just saying. She tosses her a gold coin as a tip, and she tips her hat, and she goes, good day. Good day, my lady.
Ellie kind of takes a moment and says, be careful if you do. He's dangerous.
I know, but I got some dangerous friends too. And she kind of nods outside to Bonesaw and Maz and Jasper. So she leaves. She gives the guy the water, and she tells the guy, be nice to her. I know she's selling the devil's liquid or whatever, but she's a nice girl, okay? You go easy on her. And she goes and joins Bonesaw and the rest of them.
While Myra is engaged in that bit of investigative work, Jasper would also like to do some investigative stuff. Probably while Bonesaw is getting a litany of his many flaws. Jasper has quite good survival skills, being a ranger.
Mm-hmm.
I know from the days and days that I have spent on the trail the tracks of all of my friends. I would like to look at the dirt around the bulletin board, knowing full well that this has probably been walked over many times, but just looking for anything that might be slightly unusual. And after having done that, before anybody else can get back to the wagon and mess things up more, go back and make a comparison to any tracks around the wagon, seeing if I can come up with any matches of unusual footprints. Like maybe somebody who wears very fancy shoes or spurs.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a survival check, and this will be kind of for checking both areas and doing the comparison.
30.
Wow!
30?
Plus 8 to track, so 38.
Okay, yeah.
Damn.
It turns out, you're actually able to tell, like you said, this area is very well trodden. It's very difficult to get a read of any particular footprint. However, in doing the comparison between that area and this area and the area around the wagon, you do see a very oddly shaped shoe that appears it's a cowboy boot, but the spur is low enough to the ground that it drags along the ground just a little bit, and the shape is slightly unusual for your typical cowboy boot. It doesn't look mass-produced. It looks like it was custom made. It's a little bit thinner, has a little bit of a higher and deeper impression. It's very clear that this is a unique track.
All right. And even with the 38, I don't think I could remember exactly what kind of footwear that maybe somebody with the initials JB might have worn.
Unfortunately, no, you don't.
Yeah, but this should be good enough that next time I clap eyes on that streak of something, that hopefully I can pretty much verify what is a very strong suspicion at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you come back, Bonesaw is saying, well, that's an awfully long list, Mozzie. Now I don't even know where to start.
I could start with a thank you.
Thank you, Mozzie. It's really helpful that you've kept track of all of these things.
Anytime, Bones, anytime.
And that's how I got my wagon.
Any luck, Jasper?
Well, I cannot definitively put a name on that person, but there are definitely some tracks in common between here and the message board. I think that I'll keep an eye out, and I think that this footwear is distinctive enough that I should be able to absolutely pin it on the perpetrator what done this. But
excellent.
Ain't got no proof, and I doubt what proof I had would stand up in any kind of court. But this is the kind of prank that a schoolboy would play. This is pretty petty.
And we're gonna get that little schoolboy and we're gonna tan his hide real good. Come here, Moz. And she grabs Moz by the scruff of the neck, and she's like, you remember the smell?
I think it's burned into my memory.
Okay, good, because we're going to take a road trip.
Myra?
We're going to take a field trip.
Did you have any success, Myra? You sound like you've got an idea of where to go.
Fucking Jesse Blackburn.
No, not Jesse. I thoroughly put him in the ground. He wouldn't dare.
Well, we're about to find out.
Jesse Blackburn? I'm going to peel his kneecaps off like paint cans! Bonesaw starts storming towards the railroad office.
Blackburn Cattle Company. Myra's also in tow, and for once, she's not the voice of reason. She's we're gonna get this guy. We're gonna absolutely spank his ass.
Before we do anything rash, I would just like to confirm that we don't really have business with the Blackburns, right? It's just the railroads, correct?
Kind of. So the railroads are working with the Blackburns, and they really don't want bad relationships with the Blackburns, and if we storm in there, we could definitely make bad relationships with the Blackburns.
Well, you can't have a bad relationship with a dead person, so I don't see how this can harm our... Fuck it, we're going.
Well, hold on. Jesse is but one of the Blackburns. If we kill one asshole, then we summon the rest of the assholes, and we are covered in ass.
Eloquently put, Myra.
Not if they don't connect it to us.
Oh, there's a lot of eyes.
Yeah, Myra's starting to think as she's still walking in that direction, but she finally drops Maz, puts him on his feet. She goes, "Ugh."
He's gonna hastily readjust his hat and compose himself. Alright, let's go.
Well, maybe if we could just confirm that it was him. If you can get the smell on him, then that'll be enough for me. That guy is dead to me.
I'm going to attempt to be a voice of reason here.
Jasper!
Like I said, this was a pretty petty schoolboy kind of a prank, and I'm not quite comfortable with the idea of answering it with cold-blooded murder. However, I would be willing to entertain the notion of not being forced to back down next time he gets in my face.
Yeah. He's coming to the show tonight, right?
Oh, he better be. We'll put on a show for him, that's for sure.
Well, he said he was after he tried to shoot me.
Tried to shoot you.
It was more of a threat. He backed down pretty quickly when he saw how scary I was. And then I invited him to the show, yes.
Good business is good business.
Let's set up something special just for him.
At the show. Not right now.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What do you have in mind?
If he wants to play dirty, then we're gonna play dirty too. If he wants to do this cowardly act of doing it without us knowing that it was him, then fine. He can get a taste of his own Bonesaw's magical miracle elixir.
You know, I want to be really angry right now, but you're really speaking my language.
Now, Bones, I want you to think really hard and really carefully. What is the most painful procedure that you have put on display for a crowd?
Ooh.
Make coffee.
Well, there was that time that the electric fez shorted out when I was trying to use it to grow back someone's hair. You know, the magic of galvanism and all that.
What say we goad this Mr. Blackburn into a little bit of a show for us? Be a guinea pig of sorts.
Well, he has hair. I don't know if he'd go for the electric fez.
Root canal? Shave?
Ooh.
How about a shooting contest?
As part of the show?
He challenged me. Well, I don't know how to turn that into a way that hurts him.
You could try and shoot cigarettes out of each other's mouths.
Embarrass him in front of the good people of Perdition.
Perhaps I could give him a venereal disease. That doesn't seem quite good enough, though.
It's kind of elaborate. Might have to buy him a drink first, I don't know.
You know he's banned from Ellie's place. They do not allow him in there anymore.
I will say, diseases are a gift that keep on giving. And this is a little personal for Myra, too, because Ellie. So, what are we going to do?
Short of murdering him right now, you mean? Not even the kneecaps thing?
I think he would actually be glad if we came at him with deadly force, because then he could put up a show of innocence and have us get hurt. I think his pride is his most precious possession, and I think if we're going to get him, we got to hurt that.
We need to damage his reputation, not his body.
That's diabolical.
Yeah, if he shows up to the show, I think it won't be too hard to goad him into fighting words, but...
All right.
What do you think is his most valued possession? I think it's his beard.
I don't know, he really seemed to like that little dangly thing in his nose.
Maybe we could give him a permanent tattoo of an asshole on his forehead.
Let's play it by ear. Let's see what we can't get him to participate in.
Okay.
Just a reminder, he does have like a massive burn scar over his right eye. Like a magical burn scar.
Could make it bigger. Give him one to match the other side of his ugly face.
So, I imagine this conversation was happening kind of as you guys were making your way, and you all slowly kind of slowed down as you realized, wait, hold on, let's not necessarily go in all the way. You're about halfway there, I would say.
Okay.
You all hear a loud train horn nearby. Steam horn, just...
Is it coming from the direction of the railroad tracks or the station?
It's coming from the east. The direction that you guys know, while there is railroad track there, the only thing that's there is going to the south.
Ghost train?
There wouldn't be any train on that track, on that rail.
Sunset. It's too early for the ghost train.
And you begin to hear a coming down the track. You all see a cloud of darkness coming from the south.
Uh-oh.
As you go closer towards the tracks, you see a couple of other people stick their heads out, and then immediately close their doors.
What the
Cloud
hell?
of darkness coming from the south. Hey, Moz. How fast can you get up that tower and get a better look?
Give me just a sec. I'll run over to the tower and just clamber up, see how fast I can get there.
Make a climb check for me, please.
You know, about that...
Should we roll to see if we know about the ghost train? Whether that's the thing that's happening or not?
Make a, I would say, knowledge history, knowledge local, knowledge religion.
I got none of that.
Oh, yeah!
Ooh.
I'm looking to the north saying, I don't see a damn thing. I don't know what you folk are talking about.
Yes, Zach, you can.
Alright, so I'll just mark it off and say I got to the top.
You all are looking towards the south. Myra, you're trying to remember, something about this, like, is tickling the back of your brain, but it's not quite coming to you what exactly this could be.
Okay.
You all hear a and Bonesaw, something in you twitches when you hear this, and you turn around, and Maz isn't there. He is at the top of the tower immediately, and something in you stirs, and something in you feels angry. Not at Jesse. That anger is directed there. Not at whatever is going on with the situation. Something visceral about you see it fading, this orangish red haze in the air where Maz had been just a second ago. Something about that is driving an anger deep inside you, but it vanishes as soon as you start to think about it too long.
Bonesaw turns, and for a second, from the outside, he just goes rigidly still. More still than you've ever seen him be before. He's always kind of in motion, like twitching, fidgeting, but he just freezes. He cocks his head, and then the moment passes, and he kind of shakes out of it and comes back.
Jasper is casting Cloak of Shade upon myself. It's just the sort of thing I do. I don't want to have to deal with environmental effects if we're getting into combat.
Okay.
What do I see on the top of the tower?
From the top of the tower, give me a perception check with a +5 bonus.
Ooh.
Maz, as you climb to the top, and you get a chance to look down the tracks some distance, you are able to see from up above with a 20. You're able to actually see a bit into this dark cloud. Normally, the steam cloud coming from a train would be, white. It would be a steam cloud, not necessarily like a billowing dark cloud. But as you look at this, it is pitch black. You see roiling smoke coming out. You catch glimpses of what appears to be some sort of twisted metal train that does not look like it should be possibly able to run on the tracks. It is barreling down. It looks damaged. Smoke and fire pouring off of it in just sheaves. And as it approaches faster and faster and faster, you realize, it is going to be burning past and through the station at a speed that has not been seen in a train in the West. This is moving 60, 70 miles per hour as it is just barreling down the tracks.
Is there anything directly on the path of the tracks? Like, is it going to run into something or hit a train or damage the station?
There doesn't appear to be anything on the tracks right now, but you get the sense that whatever is happening, there is a sense of danger hanging in the air as this barrels forward.
Okay. There's a ugly looking train coming real quick.
Ugly? Ugly how?
Oh, It's just, you're gonna have to believe me on this one there, Myra.
Is it some kind of supernatural manifestation?
Well, it don't look regular natural, that's for sure.
I think I'm gonna mosey on over towards the station, see if some folk might need help. This looks like it might be a disaster in the making. What do you folk think?
I hesitate to run towards the danger, but I suppose you might be right. There could be people that are in trouble.
That's because you don't have a heart of steel.
I think you might be right about that one there, Jasper. You go on ahead, I'll keep watch from here.
Alright, you cover me.
I'll get right on that.
I'll come along. I want to see an ugly train.
Well, let's take an amble, I say as I'm starting to run.
You all run towards the train station. You get there, you actually see Clarence and the station master, Cornelius, standing on the edge of the station. And they appear to be arguing again. It seems to be that is Clarence's default. They do not seem to notice the train that you guys heard it making a ton of sound as it was approaching. As you get closer to where they're at, there's almost no sound despite it being right next to the railroad.
Do you want to step back a bit? The ugly train's coming.
Yeah, you guys might want to get back.
What are you talking about?
Hey, yo! Slap shoe leather this way!
It's coming in hot if you get too close to it. How do you not see it?
Roll diplomacy and or perception or sense motive.
Ooh, nat 20 sense
Oh,
motive.
nice.
Nat 20 sense motive from Bonesaw. 24 from Myra.
That's a perception.
You can tell, while they seem aware of their surroundings, they do not seem to notice what is going on. And Bonesaw, from your sense motive, you get the sense not only are they completely unaware of something coming down the track, they almost seem to be rooted where they're at. Not necessarily by any sort of magical means, but something has drawn them to that exact spot and is holding them there, and they're not even aware of it.
Y'all are gonna have to intervene. I'm still up in a tower.
Myra's going to pull out her gun and point it at them. And she's gonna be like, Get off the station now! Come this way!
Make an intimidate check.
I can tell they're rooted. Do I sense that it's like dark energy rooting them in place?
Yes.
Okay. Bonesaw, I think, will step closer and wait and time it as the train is coming through, but he'll pop off one of the positive energies on his mask that spreads throughout the 30 feet and see if the positive energy maybe counteracts the effects for anyone within it. Ooh! That's a nat 20 for Myra's Intimidate, though.
Yup.
Yeah, Myra, with a nat 20 with your Intimidate, both of them shout, "What the hell are you doing?" and, dive for cover. And this happens as the magic is happening. And it's at that moment that the train, suddenly, all of that sound that you had heard before just comes rushing, and the sound of this train that hadn't been there before zooms past all of you. And you see there appeared to be a figure leaning out of the train. A skeletal hand reaching out, and it barely brushes against Clarence's coat before the train continues on. Both of them are laying there, and Clarence is caterwauling. Cornelius is saying something about, "Damn train, don't they know the speed limit is coming through here? It's absolutely ridiculous. They shouldn't be allowed to go through there that fast. I can't believe it." But it seems to be safe for the moment.
That really was the ugliest train I've ever seen.
What in tarnation was that?
Terrence and Wilmington Clark come rushing out. They appear to be the only people who have really noticed in town. And they say, Terrence says, "What the hell was that? What was going on?" Wilmington's like, "Did any of you happen to see what just happened? What went down?"
Some sort of hell train. Clarence, are you alright? I'm going to try and make my way to Clarence and see if he is in any way damaged by this ghastly touch.
You look him over, and as you do, you see along the back of his neck, kind of running from the collar all the way up through his hair. You see this streak of, you would almost say it looks like scarred skin on the back, and then like blackened and charred hair going in a single streak of like 5 fingers going up along the back of his head, like something that was white hot and burning had just run up his neck. And he's just, that wasn't absolutely ridiculous. And Cornelius is just, he gets up and is like, fine, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with what's going on. I'm fine. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm going to see if I can catch Terrence's eye and gesture towards Clarence's back.
Terrence comes up and, seeing that, kind of looks over Clarence, and he looks concerned and says, "Hey, Clarence, let's get you to sit down and rest for a little bit, okay? I'm fine. Nothing happened. Nothing, I'm fine. I'm fine." And he kind of is leaning over. He looks suddenly tired.
He's been touched by the engineer of hell.
Myra.
Yeah.
Give me a perception check. You specifically.
Okay.
17. That's high enough. You are looking around, and as you do, you turn back and look at Wilmington Clark. And you see he's scratching at his neck fervently. And as he does, 3 or 4 scales come off in his hand, and he kind of holds them, looks at them, and tosses them on the ground.
Can I roll to see, that's a sign of, sick snake, right?
He lost some scales when we talked to him last time, didn't he?
Yeah, he peeled one off and flicked it away, and we were all like,
Yeah.
oh my god!
Yeah, we thought it was like a faux pas or something like that.
Make a heal check, Myra. The DC's pretty low for you.
Being a...
21? Yeah, there is something fucking wrong with him. He does not look like he should be losing this many scales.
Okay, so Wilmington is not looking good. Clarence is not looking good.
Cornelius seems fine. Terrence seems fine.
Okay, Myra's gonna go up to Wilmington, and she's gonna try to casually play it off. She's like, "Oh, you're kind of looking a little flaky there. You doing okay?"
Oh, He sits up and kind of covers his neck. It's nothing you need to worry about. I'm perfectly fine. It's just nothing a little bit of a trip to the doctor won't fix. I'll be right as rain in any day now.
Does he know something?
Speaking of a trip to the doctor.
Can I sense motive to see if he knows? Is there something he's hiding it? Is it out of pride because he's embarrassed? Or is it because he kind of knows what's going on and he may or may not know how this train might have contributed? Okay.
Roll sense motive. 16. Let me roll for him. You get the sense that you're not entirely sure, but you think he knows more than he's letting on.
Okay. She'll just kind of be like, well, if you need help with anything, I have a friend who's good with medicine, and, from snake folk to snake folk, just let me know if you need help with anything. And she just kind of leaves it at that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You get the folk settled. Clarence seems a little bit wild-eyed and is a little discombobulated. Wilmington shuffles back away. Terrence is taking care of the situation. It's getting late enough in the day that it would be around this time that if you're going to run a show for the evening, now would be the time to set it up and get ready for it.
Well, that was exciting. Should we go get settled for the show? I had selected Clarence as my star, for the tooth pulling, but he might be out of it, so perhaps we can convince Jesse to sub in.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a mighty good idea.
I wonder if he'll agree to that, though.
Well, we'll see.
I have a feeling that if he shows up, it's going to be the heck, is my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I deal with hecklers all the time, By the way, Jasper, we hadn't really talked about anything. Did you want to participate?
No, we haven't talked about it.
I'm gonna pretend to be blind.
I think that I will stand toward the back, and
I'm going to be watching the crowd, making sure nothing gets out of hand.
Excellent. I always love to have a sort of bouncer, wrangler, bodyguard, what have you.
And right now, Jasper's thinking, dodged a bullet there.
Well, you might have to take a few bullets if the crowd gets rowdy enough, bodyguard.
Now, how often does that happen? Because I've only attended one of these here shows.
Oh, hardly ever, really. Oh, could I borrow Smokey?
Nope.
What if you were there directing Smokey? I was just thinking, we could have Smokey do some tricks and then tout the magical properties of some such thing and say, if it's made this horse so smart that it could... No, all right, I can tell. The look on your face.
Smokey,
maybe another time.
Smokey and I have a special relationship that I would not want to impose upon for theatrics. I appreciate the inquiry, but not going to happen. Matter of fact, I need to go check on Smokey. Might have been spooked by that ghost thing, that train from hell, and she's probably shot by now, so yeah, I need to go check on her.
Excellent. We'll meet you back at the cart then.
Yeah, I'll try not to be late. Bye! Yeah, I dearly love my friends, but some of them are just plumb hooked.
Some?
Jasper, you head back to pick up Smokey. Yeah. As you do, you actually hear Fuldar like, "That's a girl. You're okay. Just relax. That's okay. You're okay. Oh, you're a good girl, aren't you? Beautiful, beautiful.
Good girl, Smokey. You just be a statue there."
He sits up suddenly, unaware that you were there. And, yeah, she's taken care of, all shod, ready for you to take her.
I'm like to sense motive here. if and I might.
Yep.
Natural 20!
Nat 20. Oh, fantastic. So what you can tell, from what you've heard around town and what you've seen with Fuldar, he has a reputation of being a bit of a gruff, burly asshole. Doesn't really take to most people. What you get the sense of is he really likes horses and he really cares for horses, but he doesn't like showing that part of himself to people, especially customers. And you caught him unawares.
I'm going to diffuse the situation by saying, sorry, I don't breathe too loudly or much. And I tend to take folks by surprise. Beautiful job on Smokey. How's the other task?
Right. And he takes you inside and shows you set on the counter is the gun. It looks pretty badly beat up and damaged. He clearly, after getting it hot, he really wailed on it with the hammer. It doesn't look destroyed.
Right.
And he says, damn thing's near indestructible. I've been going at it every once in a while, reheating. It's definitely not going to shoot straight ever again. And I could keep going if you'd like. See if I can get it fully bent out of shape and break it into pieces.
Well, tell you what, is it possible now to break it down at all, or is it all too bent up to like pull out the pin and the revolver drum and such?
It's pretty badly damaged. I don't think we're going to be pulling it apart anytime soon.
Well, if we can't pull it apart, it's not going to fire.
No, it is. I made sure that I focused on the hammer and the barrel.
Alrighty.
I tried fitting a bullet down in there and got stuck halfway.
Well, I don't plan on touching it, but is it cool enough to transport?
Here, and he picks it up and tosses it into water. And it sizzles a little bit. Should be good for travel now.
That's good. I've got a little bit of a task to go out and do in the desert tonight. I think that this gun might have a date with a hole. Thank you kindly. Here, let me put a little addendum on that piece of paper that we talked about before to indicate that I have received the gun back from you in a non-fireable state and that I intend to dispose of it to the best of my capabilities.
He hands you the document back, and after you sign it and add that, he doesn't even look at it, he just kind of puts it away.
Alright, I will use tongs to put the gun back in the saddlebag, and I'm going to get well away from the farrier, but I'm going to cast Carry Companion to put Smokey back into a statue to make the gun less accessible. And I'll let her out later on tonight, depending on what happens, if I can get out to meet Natan.
We're going to go ahead and dive into the show.
Hey.
Now, Gabby.
Yes, you want me to do social encounter rules?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, social encounters are gonna have a couple of phases. The first phase is an information gathering phase, and the following phases are times when we can earn influence points. The total number of influence points is going to be equal to the number of participants multiplied by the number of phases, which basically means that during each phase, every player can earn 1 point, or not earn 1 point, and then however many points we have at the end determines the sort of outcome. For Bonesaw shows in particular, we came up with a couple of different roles. A performer just makes rolls for influence points, but if you're acting as an assistant, then you can do sort of an aid another action if, like, the flavor of the thing that you're doing is more helping somebody else succeed, then that person can roll for both of the influence points with advantage. And then if you're acting as a shill, you have an opportunity during the info gathering phase, because you're a part of the crowd, to get 1 bonus influence point. And the DCs for the shill start out lower because the crowd doesn't perceive them as the enemy necessarily. But if they find out you're on the side of the performer, then the DCs will get higher. And that's basically what that breaks down to. The DCs for the crowd are based on normal social rules for Pathfinder 1, where you have kind of helpful, friendly, indifferent, unfriendly, and hostile. And most crowds will probably start out as indifferent, and they can be adjusted up or down based on some factors, like if we've put the show in a good area, if the weather is good, if we've gotten support from local leaders, like Bonesaw bribing Catalina with alcohol and she comes to the show and people are like, oh, the sheriff supports it, then the DCs will be lower for us. We can also booze up the crowd beforehand if we want to, with the risk that if the show does not go well, we won't get the cost back at the end. But basically, by the end, we count up how many influence points we've earned, and if we only got 1 to 4 influence points, or I guess 0 to 4, then we could get run out of town. If we get 5 to 8, then we just fail to recoup our losses. If we get 9 to 12, we earn average money. 13 to 16, we earn good money. And if we get all 16 points, then we become local figures of renown in addition to earning good money. And what average and good mean are sort of determined by Blake on a situation-by-situation basis.
So 16 is the maximum amount of points?
Yeah, for this specific one. In the future, there might be like more or fewer phases. We can each get 1 point during each phase, so max of 16.
Okay.
Well, Bonesaw, if you want to front the cost of a keg, I'll ladle out cheap beer.
Oh, certainly! I love to get the crowd in the mood. Bonesaw will go get a keg of Applejack out of the wagon and kind of roll it out.
How much you want per glass?
I leave it to your best judgment.
Oh, boy.
As long as people are happy, you know.
Okay, for Jasper to make this adjudication, for whatever role you might want to have him make, keep in mind that he did spend about maybe 10 years as a drunk, as a shiftless, homeless sot before he pulled himself together.
Oh my
so
gosh.
he does have some idea of the culture of alcohol and its worth and what people will pay and such like that.
Bonesaw does not know that. So.
Nope.
Shit.
It was, it was not alcoholism in the traditional sense. It was more like severe depression.
All right, I'm going to go with a low price in shot glasses.
That sounds wonderful.
And set up a little board.
Well, I'm thinking that Maj should probably start, warm the crowd up. You seemed very, very driven earlier, very excited.
Goddamn right I'm starting.
And then we can maybe do Myra's shooting thing, and then try to coax Jesse up on stage.
So, if we do coax him up on stage and we're gonna pull a fast one on him, I mean, he's crazy, but I don't think he's that dumb. I think he'd pick up that we might be trying to pull something on him. What if we randomly get him while he's in the audience? Like, what if we pretend something goes wrong, or we pretend that something goes a little awry, but only Jesse happens to be hit? And I'm sure the whole town would get a good laugh out of that, watching Jesse get a little bit of a...
Hit by what? Are we talking a paint bucket or a bullet?
I was thinking more paint bucket. If a bullet hits him, I mean, how many people are gonna miss him? But
I can't imagine that shooting into the crowd will get us a very welcome reception.
No, I was thinking more like, paint or something, or maybe some unsavory liquids or fluids end up on him, or...
Just to be clear, what exactly are we trying to accomplish with the Blackburn situation?
Revenge!
I want to hurt that little shit's pride. Just a little bit. I want him to know that we're not going to be messed with. If he really wants to play, he's going to play. He's going to have to do it without being a little sneaky son of a gun behind her back.
And what is the best way of hurting said pride?
I don't know. I just maybe have someone throw up on him. Have someone, I don't know, a drunk piss on him or something. I don't know. Something that seems random and petty. Just like the kind of random petty stuff he did to Bonesaw.
I might have something.
Oh, you do?
Perhaps. I like to experiment a little bit in my free time with different modes of alcohol, and I found a certain concoction a little bit ago, sort of based off of something dwarvish, worm's breath bitter.
Keep talking.
Well, if you can get someone to drink it, first they might become sickened and throw up. But if they can manage to hold on to their stomach, then you can release a thunderous and noxious belch around you, which causes creatures around you to be deafened and sickened.
Could we put it in the Applejack if Jesse comes by?
That would cause everybody.
No, just Jesse's.
That's going to be very fun. Either he throws up or he causes a scene and makes a bunch of other people feel bad.
We might need a third party or Jasper to deliver the drink during the show. If we pull him on stage, it'd be a lot of attention.
Do you think Catalina would do it? Has Catalina shown up yet? Are we starting to get a crowd?
Yeah, I would say at this point, you guys are prepping. Where are you doing it, by the way? That's the big question.
Well, I was thinking by the cart, but you said there's like a stage in the main square?
Yeah.
There is. That's where all of Bonesaw's stuff was hung up.
Main square.
We should probably try to wheel the cart over there and set up by the stage.
Okay. Between the four of you, you're able to get it over, leaving the carcasses there on the ground.
I wonder if there's a way we can get him to puke on someone from the railroad. See, if we don't have to deal with the Blackburns, then they don't have to deal with the Blackburns. They don't like them anyway. So if we could disrupt their relationship in a way that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass, then maybe...
I can't imagine the crowd would be too happy about being puked on in the middle of our show where we're trying to make money.
Well, just specifically the railroad people, just to have Jesse Blackburn get into a bit of a tough situation, maybe getting reamed a little bit for his behavior, getting too drunk at a show.
Could pull his pants down. Although, concentrated alcohol might be just the trick. Get him drunk enough to make a fool of himself, embarrass himself in front of everyone, he gets kicked out, everyone stays happy, and he gets his dose of medicine.
All of these seem a tad speculative. I like the end game, but I think they're very dependent on what Jesse's willing to do.
True,
so perhaps we try to get someone to give him the burpee alcohol, and if that doesn't work, then we'll try to get him up on stage. We can try a couple of plans as long as he's around.
All right.
Why don't we just hit him with the old 1-2?
Jasper, how would you feel about giving him something a little strange? If you're not up for it, I'll ask Catalina.
Jasper is in the back saying, Applejack cowboy hat, half the price, drunk back to back. Applejack, saddleback, fit for Jill or lumberjack.
Bonesire comes up next to him and says, how would you feel about slipping something not so savory to Jesse Blackburn, should you see him?
I'll give it my best shot.
All right.
Good enough for me.
Bonesire will hand you a special flask. Only for Jesse.
Alrighty. Jasper is going to prepare that little shot glass ahead of time, and he's going to have some pre-filled glasses just below the board. And if Jesse Blackburn shows up, he's going to get that particular pre-filled glass. Because I'm not going to be pouring every single time.
Okay.
You know, on second thought, we could give him a glass full of, like, laxatives and capsaicin. I mean, as long as he's drinking
Let's put it all in there. Let's try the nasty stuff. Let's try some laxative. Let's make a real cocktail out of this. Let's get experimental.
Bonesaw sets up a second glass and gives it to Jasper and says, if he drinks the first one fine and is willing to drink another, you should give him that.
Well, if he's idiot enough to take something that I hand him to drink, then yeah, he deserves what he gets. I mean, that's self-inflicted.
Thank you, Jasper, darling.
I like this plan.
Mara starts looking in the ground for anything nasty to also put in the drink.
We'll say that you guys fill up a couple of options.
Just a bit of Russian roulette.
Nice round robin
Right.
of...
Yeah, I'm not going to put anything solid in there. That would be kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah,
Here, have this.
nothing solid.
It's got twigs and nails in it.
Nothing. Liquid stuff.
Let's go ahead and dive into the show proper. A crowd has started to gather. You see some familiar faces in the crowd. You see Terrence, you see Cameron, you see Jim Ziplak, the gnome. You see the tiefling woman and the Asmar woman kind of standing in the back. They both get drinks from you, Jasper, and they taste it, and the tiefling is definitely kind of like judging the alcohol a little bit. Like, the mouthfeel of this is not great, it's definitely a bit underdistilled. And the Asmar's just like, you're not on the job right now, come on.
This is tepid.
You see that big half-orc woman no longer wearing the bloody apron, but she's standing there. Catalina's there. Duke Van Horn is standing in the back. And in point of fact, Jesse does arrive. So your plan is you're going to try and get him to drink right off the bat?
If he comes up for a drink, he'll get that drink.
Okay.
I think that if we try and get him to drink it, it's going to be counterproductive.
Yeah, he's gonna...
It's a passive trap, not an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me roll something for him. He steps forward and kind of pushes a couple of people out of the way. He bypasses you completely, Jasper, and steps into the middle and just stands there, slight smirk on his face, and as he does, he pulls out one of those cigars, takes it, and pulls out this strange contraption from his pocket and just flicks it, and a flame just burning a slight blue hue. He flicks it, lights his up, and then he still holds it in his hand, and every once in a while just flicks it on, flicks it off, flicks it on, flicks it off. And you see a couple of the people kind of like, it smells nasty, whatever he's doing. And people are standing away from him. He does not go for the drink, unfortunately.
Is anyone close enough to tell if it smells like gas?
Myra would be close enough and could do a perception check. 25. It smells strongly of sulfur as he's lighting this up. Kind of a metallic sulfur smell, like if you're burnishing metal.
Jasper would like to make a he'd like to check out his boots.
Give me survival.
All right. Holy crow!
Boom, now-
Oh, no!
Wow!
He moves past you so quickly, like he brushed past you, and you did not see it at all. You completely lost sight of his boots as soon as you didn't even have a chance to see it.
All right.
Before Bonesaw greets the crowd, he makes a last-ditch effort. With his back to Jesse, talking to Jasper just a little loud, he says, "If you see that nasty little squirt, Jesse Blackburn, don't give him any alcohol, alright? This is free for nice people, alright? He's not nice, and I don't want him to have a free drink, alright? Alright.
Sure thing,
Good
sir.
talk."
I won't serve him nothing.
Rolling something for him. I'm so sorry. He looks back. It just gives you a small smirk.
Bonesaw's not looking at him. Bonesaw's ignoring him.
He continues to smoke.
Bonesaw steps up on the stage and he says, welcome one and all to Bonesaw's marvelous miracle elixirs. We're so happy you could all come out tonight. I know you're so excited to see more from us, the wonderful people who captured Carter and sent him away.
There's a smattering of applause throughout. Catalina, who is double fisting the Applejack, she's holding both of them and just slams it down, gives it a big clap.
Tonight you will see wonders, such wonderful things, but to start us off, one of the most wonderful things you've ever seen, and my personal friend, Mozzarella Copernicus Pryor, playing the best fiddle in the entire West. Give it up for Mozzie!
More applause. You see Jim in the back kind of give a... This is going to be the first challenge. We're going to go around the group and everybody's going to tell me what they plan to do to try and earn an influence point in this phase. You can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, and I'll call for the appropriate check based on that. I encourage you all, be creative. You don't have to just roll performance, you don't have to just roll like one thing. Just whatever you're feeling, go for it, and we'll see what happens.
Myra's excited. She's sitting in the back. She's like tilting her head and she's listening and she's like, this music is so beautiful. I can hear the tones and the complexity of the music. She's talking out of her ass. And she's trying to convince the people around her, whoever could hear her, in a whispered tone. Probably talking a little bit too much. She probably gets some shh from the audience, but she's moved to tears and she's like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check.
Ooh.
Hey.
20. Dirty 20, anyway. Excellent. That definitely beats the crowd's DC. And so what that means is, in addition to gaining your influence point, you're going to give Maz a +2 for earning his influence point.
Thanks, Myra.
Who could ever believe that they were better than this gentleman on stage right here? Whoever has dared challenge this man, he has no taste.
Awesome. All right, Jasper.
What I'm doing is, as I pass out drinks, I'm doing my best with each drink to pass out something that makes people feel better about themselves. Like, for instance, when Catalina comes and just shoots back, one right after the other, for which she paid half price because she didn't back back. I said, when I was out walking the railroad line, I saw a half-orc named Iron Gut McGinty. I saw this fella wrestle a bear with his bare hands, knock that thing out cold, but if he had downed Applejack like you can, he would have been the one flat on his back. Here, have another. And I'm doing my best to give everybody that kind of moment. I'm passing out alcohol and good feelings.
That is
Best
absolutely
bartender.
fantastic.
That's easy when you're not charging. Or charging a pittance.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me a diplomacy check as well.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately, all of my social skills are correct.
I'll say you get a +2 to that.
All right, let's see what we get here. 14, so it becomes a 16.
Hey.
That's not bad at all.
Nice!
with the +2, you manage to beat the crowd's DC, and then you're going to get another influence. I won't always tell you if you guys beat the DC or not. I'm just doing it this time to
Ease us into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Bonesaw, what are you going to do?
Bonesaw, sort of familiar with Maz's performances, has pulled out a couple of lanterns with, like, different colored slides in them, and as Maz's music changes sort of moods, he directs the spotlight toward Maz and does some, like, colored effects to keep it interesting on stage and make it look cool.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Can I roll Profession Charlatan?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask for.
Oof. I got a 13.
Unfortunately, you did not beat the DC on that one.
Bonesaw is glaring at Jesse in the crowd, and he misses some of his cues.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you also will not be giving a bonus to Maz.
I imagine I'll have to do a perform check at the end of this, but to kind of spice things up, I was thinking I would pull out one of my new 3rd level spells.
Ooh.
I am going to cast Major Image on the little patch of dirt that is in between our show and the crowd, essentially. Maz is going to create the illusion of several small, about a foot tall, porcelain figures, faceless humanoid things crawling out of the ground, and they're gonna sort of dance to what he has to do. And as the song progresses and moves through different shifts and tones, it's almost like conducting a play. One porcelain figure is going to stand in front of the others and is going to essentially dance, but the figures around it will sort of look away in disgust or ignore it for a period of time. But the dancer is going to fall to the ground and find these golden bands in the dirt. And once the dancer equips these golden bands, it will jump higher, gracefully sort of move through the air, and then all the figures will take more notice as the dancer spins and jumps higher and higher. But as the dancer gets more and more of a following and more of these figures come from the ground, the dancer will start spinning round and round and round and faster, and it's like the dancer won't stop. The dancer can't stop. Eventually, the golden bands around the dancer will shoot out into the crowd of porcelain figures and cause them to scatter, running away. And the performance will kind of end with the dancer burying the golden rings back into the ground.
Wow.
I'm entranced.
Holy shit, that is really cool. Go ahead and roll the perform. In addition to the +2, roll with advantage.
Roll with advantage. I really doubt I'll need it, but we'll see where this goes.
You might
so
crit.
We're gonna roll once, and we're gonna roll
Oh,
twice.
thank goodness.
Oh no!
Good, yeah, did
One of those is a nat 1.
Oh
A
boy.
35 and a nat 1, yeah.
Okay, well the 35 was first. But
Yeah, you absolutely... Everybody seems entranced, and even Jim, who is standing back there with his arms crossed, just kind of seems to relax into the music and is entranced. But at the end of it, when you finally end the song, there's this beat of silence, and everybody just starts clapping. It's just applauding. Jesse is sitting there, still just flicking that lighter thing. Jim, you see him start to clap like, wow, and then he kind of catches himself like, and puts his arms back down, frowning. And that is the end of the first round. You successfully got 3 points of influence.
Nice.
3 out of the 4.
Sounds
So
good.
as long as you make 2 more points of influence the next couple of rounds, you won't get run out of town.
Good.
Bonesaw comes back out, kind of emceeing. He's clapping. He's pretending to weep tears of awe. Of course, with the mask, you can't see them, but he kind of does his fingers running down his face like that. He says, "Mozzarella, everyone! Please give a wonderful hand to Moz for that beautiful, beautiful performance. Of course, his abilities enhanced by Bonesaw's Miracle Elixirs. Definitely see us after the show for any and all of your sundry needs. Next up, I would like a volunteer from the audience, perhaps someone with something they'd like cured. These miracle elixirs, they work for all sorts of things. Can I get a volunteer? Is there anyone at all?
Myra raises her hand and she goes, my eyesight got injured during the fight. I can't really see very well. I had kind of bad vision beforehand. Do you have something to fix that?
Oh, of course. Please, come up on stage, everyone. Give a big hand. What's your name, miss?
Shelby.
Shelby, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Shelby, Bonesaw sets up a target on one end of the stage and hands you a gun and says, now Shelby, the audience is to your left. Please don't shoot to the left. I can cure anyone that gets shot, but, it's not very pleasant. So, just forward, if you will. Try to hit the target. Let's see how you do. He spins you around a couple of times.
She aims up and out. She points her gun at the target, but she angles it so that it goes far and wide. And she fires off the shot and she goes, did I get it?
You were pretty close. Why don't we see another? Can you do one more shot, please? Bonesaw kind of mimes out at the audience like, oh, that was really bad. Look how bad it was.
Yeah, there you hear a boo, boo.
Maz takes this opportunity to go wah, 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 on his fiddle.
Don't be discouraged, Shelby dear.
You can't see it, but Myra's face is getting a little red underneath the scale. Her pride's a little bit hurt. She takes pride in her shot, and she's like, damn it. So she swallows her pride again, and she goes up and far and wide.
Oh, that was even worse than before.
I'm back there saying, just you wait. Just you wait. It's gonna be great. Here, have a
Myra is going to take this opportunity to try to get some bleeding heart stuff from the crowd, and the town was really hurt by the attack, and Myra's just another one of those poor people of this town who got hurt in this incident, and boy, gee, wouldn't it be great for this town if some hope was restored. So she's really gonna lean into that, and she goes, I used to shoot bottles with my paw, but I don't think I'll be able to do that anymore. Not since the Knolls.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm back there saying stuff like, hey there, young fella. You see that girl up in the front? Yeah, the one with the red hair and the freckles? She wanted another, but she's just too embarrassed to ask. I bet you if you went and sat down next to her and took this extra one with you,
Oh,
that'd get you in like Flynn. And be sure you and her clap extra loud for that young lady up there. It's gonna just knock your socks off with what Bonesaw's gonna do for her.
I'm gonna say roll your profession.
Okay.
I feel like this, while it's tangential, I could see it being helpful in this kind of instructional area.
I am talking to the young.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking to the young
22.
and giving them some help.
Awesome.
Love teacher.
You look at the student and kind of, yes, mister. I'll go do that. Thank you.
Wait, student,
And
how old are
goes-
these? Who are we giving alcohol to?
Older.
I'm just a poor cockney lad.
16.
16. Okay. Old West adults.
That is a point for Jasper. Let's do Maz next.
Okay. I want to make this next shot a lot more epic, and I think the best way to make things more epic is with fire. So I am going to cast a little spark with my cantrip, and I'm going to set the target ablaze so that it has a lot more glamour to it.
Oh, fantastic.
well, hold on now. That might make it harder because it's bright.
Well,
I'm gonna say by casting the spell. That will be your action instead of rolling.
Okay.
But in doing so, you're going to give advantage to Myra on this show.
Hey.
Advantage is very
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, you do not earn an influence point for this, but if Myra succeeds, she will get 2 influence points.
Oh, fantastic. That's even better.
Next up, Bonesaw.
Bonesaw makes a real big deal about pulling out one of his vials, sort of mixing some ingredients in there and shaking it up, and he does the whole glowing light trickling out of his outfit and into the bottle and swirling it around. He hams it up real big, and he hands it to Myra and says, "There you go, Shelby. That should help with your eyesight. And just to make things a bit more interesting," he takes down the big target.
The one that's on fire currently.
Yeah.
I'll set it on fire after.
He grabs his taxidermy lizard from inside the cart. It's a much smaller target, and he sets it up at a bit of a jaunty angle, and he says, "Let's see if you can't hit that once your eyesight's restored."
Give me a bluff check.
Oh
Oh no!
no!
That is a nat 1. That is a nat 1. Jesse, loudly as you say this, says, "She can't hit shit. I seen her shoot."
You shut your whore mouth, Jesse! You just wait until Myra blows you away!
You're losing him!
How does the crowd receive Bonesaw taking it out on Jesse?
While nobody likes Jesse, yelling that at a member of the crowd definitely doesn't endear you to them. They do not
God
seem
damn
to
it.
be necessarily on your side.
In the spirit of my nat 1!
Yes, in the spirit of your nat 1. They're not, like, it doesn't affect the DCs of anything, but
He also used Myra's name.
yeah. Myra, go ahead and give me an attack roll. And you have advantage on this, so go ahead and roll twice, and we'll take the better. Holy
There's
shit!
a crit.
That is a crit! Okay.
Okay, so she stands there and she looks at Jesse and she goes, Now, I'm sure Jesse doesn't understand what's going on here. Allow me to demonstrate Bonesaw's marvelous miracle elixirs." And she takes a swig, sets it down hard, and then she says, "I'm gonna shoot just the pinky toe off of this lizard."
Absolutely. You line up the shot, tink, and it actually causes the lizard to go up into the air, spinning. And while it's in the middle of the air, tink, you shoot it again, and spins again. And as it's starting to come down, tink, you shoot it 1/3 time, and it hits again. And
This is way cooler.
it finally lands, and somebody goes and picks it up and looks at it like, holy shit. She shot the toes off of the leg 3 times. Holy shit! It's the same redheaded kid. And there's a round of applause.
Woohoo!
That is 3 more influence points.
What a marvel! What a wonder! Give it up for Shelby! And give it up for Bonesaw's miracle elixirs that's made it all possible!
As she's going down, she's gonna make a show of, like, looking Jesse real close in the face, and she's like, now that my eyesight's restored, I can see how ugly you are.
He takes his cigar and blows it in your face. And puts it back. Lights the lighter again. Waits a beat of 3. Flicks it off. Lights it on. Waits a beat of 3. Flicks it off.
She keeps going.
What time is it?
Oh, what time is it?
Yeah, you know what time it is?
Tell me.
Sneak lady.
What time is it?
He looks up at the clock tower that is lit up. Pulls out a pocket watch. I think it's time I take a few steps back. He flicks it, the lighter again, and flicks it off. Now that's the funny thing about these kinds of
prepping in action.
Shows. Never know when something's gonna go. Boom.
Just before he says that, as he's waiting for that dramatic point,
Yes.
a small piece of marble is going to hurl into the audience right in front of him, resulting in a full-grown horse. I'm going to try and interrupt this big moment with a miraculous horse. I have been waiting all evening for him to, he's going to do something.
Make an attack
with
roll.
this stupid thing. All right, attack roll. Crit. Crit. Natural 20.
Holy shit.
Bless the dice.
You know what? Because you got this, I'm actually going to count it in the next phase as a successful influence.
Hey.
You throw this right as he's leaning into Myra and about to say boom, and it lands, and boom, suddenly Smokey is right around. And there's a decent-sized hole around him because he's been smoking this entire time. And Smokey appears and, boom, shoves him forward. And as he lands kind of forward, he is knocked on his ass, and he's leaning forward. And Smokey, once again, because he got a nat 20, Smokey, suddenly appearing in surprise, bucks out and kicks him right in the ass and sends him sprawling forward onto his face.
This was our revenge.
I'm sorry, we should have put up a sign that said no assholes at the entrance.
Smokey the magical horse, ladies and gentlemen! Give it up for Smokey!
Everyone's applauding, just like, yes, yes. Actually, somebody yells out, hey, I guess Jesse really is a horse's ass.
I'm gonna laugh loudly and clap and
Round of shots for everybody.
Yeah, there is raucous laughter as Jesse stands up. He looks furious.
Oh, I'm sorry, were you hurt? You can come up on stage if you want a little medicine.
He takes his cigar and flicks it at the stage.
Oh, shit.
Now, the nice thing about revenge, it takes a nice long time to percolate.
doesn't taste nothing like Applejack. Applejack all around.
And he just backs away, and he disappears. He is no longer there. You do see he left the lighter object, and the fire just burning.
Myra's gonna work to put it out.
It goes out easily enough.
Let's none of us let him ruin our fun. We're all having a good time, aren't we? Aren't we?
Woohoo! Take a bow, Smokey. Smokey's gonna go down on one knee.
Fantastic. I think we're only going to do 3 phases this turn.
Okay.
I'm good with that. I don't have an idea for the fourth anyhow.
You've already earned 1 influence point for that turn. What's the final phase going to look like, Bonesaw?
Bonesaw just leads the crowd in sort of a rousing cheer, and the one guy who called Jesse a horse's ass, he calls him out and he's like, "Free drinks for this man! These tricks and others, courtesy of Bonesaw's miracle elixirs. Look how smart that horse is. Ladies, wouldn't it be nice if your husband was that smart? Come to me for Bonesaw's miracle elixirs. See us after the show." And he's just gonna start to close things out. He'll pass around the hat.
Gotcha. Let's go ahead and, Myra, are you going to do anything to shill for this final round?
Nope. She's got a bad feeling in the pit of her stomach. She's gonna be stupid and try to follow Jesse.
Okay. No influence point gained there.
Shit, sorry.
No, you're good.
Maz, you doing anything to assist or wrap up?
Maz is gonna take out the sheriff and try and have him jump through a few little horseshoes that he's gonna set up as kind of a little mini thing.
Give me an animal handling check, please.
Animal handling.
14. That is not quite enough to beat the DC, but you definitely have people, entertained.
Okay.
A lot of people are kind of focused on the stuff that went down with Jesse. That definitely has pulled a lot of focus. And then, final one, go ahead and give me a check, Bonesaw.
Profession, charlatan.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Oh,
No!
I am rolling absolute shit tonight. Thank you all for carrying this performance.
To be clear, you guys gave a hell of a lot of entertainment for tonight, but the fact that Jesse Blackburn got shown up at your show, while you definitely haven't endeared yourself to everybody in town, you're probably going to get a few free drinks, but not necessarily the purpose of this show, and that's drawn a lot of chatter.
Okay.
Not as many people paying attention. But in the end, you're going to make a little bit of money. You succeeded, for the most part, on a lot of this stuff.
Nice.
The crowd begins to disperse. A couple of people come up to Bonesaw afterwards as things are winding down. A couple of people come up to Jasper and clap him on the back. And I'm going to buy you a drink, son.
Well,
Showed him what for.
I can't drink too much myself, but tell you what, watch this. I take out a bucket that I've had sitting there, and I'm going to put one of the final remaining shot glasses in there and say, Smokey, take this to the pretty lady in the third row, the one with the blue bonnet. Just while people are dispersing, I'm going to be having Smokey hand out the last drinks with her deliver trick.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Oh, that's adorable.
You know what? Roll animal handling for me.
24.
All right, I'm going to count that as a final point of influence.
Hey!
So that brings you up to a total of 8 out of 12. You're probably going to earn good money for tonight.
That's a solid C-.
You get some good well wishes. Maz, you in particular, a lot of people come up afterwards and are like, that was a fantastic show. You're an amazing performer. I absolutely loved it. Jim actually comes up and says, not half bad. You might actually have some fiddling chops. Oh my God. Tell you what, I like to make things interesting. I'm supposed to play at the mayor's birthday this coming Sunday. What do you say you and I have a little bit of a competition?
Might be interested in showing you up again. Sounds like fun.
See you there. And Jim walks off.
Jasper would like to catch Duke Van Horn's eye before he wanders off.
Yeah, absolutely. Jasper, you go up to Duke Van Horn. Duke is sitting there, happily enjoying the surroundings, drinking from a very small glass.
I say, Mr. Van Horn, I've worn a lot of hats and traveled in a lot of shoes in my lifetime. And me and my crew, we have a couple of things we still need to take care of, but once everything is settled and the dust is down, if you need a hand at the schoolhouse, I am an accredited teacher of language arts and history at the elementary level, and I can teach biology and botany at the university level.
Damn!
Shit.
Duke kind of looks over in surprise and says, well, it would be wonderful to have another teacher in these parts. I've been handling it for the greater Perdition area for quite some time, and I mean, as you can see, we don't even have a proper schoolhouse at the moment. It suffered some flooding damage, but I would absolutely love.
Excellent. I caught your students. I saw your students as you were ringing the bell the other day, and it brought back a lot of things in my history that I would like to approach once more.
Absolutely.
But thank you. I will probably see you in hopefully less than a week. Good day to you, sir.
Good day. I look forward to it.
I give him a wink as I walk away.
He gives you a nod. Myra, you start following Jesse. Make a survival check for me.
Oh, tracking. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was like,
Saying, oh, you don't survive!
oh, damn it.
A 7.
Yeah. Damn it.
You lose track of him as he goes through the woods. It's dark now. You kind of lose sight of him, even with your dark vision.
Is there anyone else near me?
No. Nobody is near you. Until you feel a pistol whip against the back of your head.
Dust and Blood is a Rolling Path production featuring Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Blake Alfson as our GM, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, and myself, Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Our theme song is Dust and Blood by Arne Parrott, and other music throughout this recording is provided by Kevin Macleod, Tabletop Audio, Dark Fantasy Studios, and the Desperados 3 original game soundtrack by Filippo Beck Peccoz. Transcripts, detailed sound credits, and more can be found on our website at dustandbloodpod.com. You can follow us on X and Facebook at Dust and Blood Pod, or support us through our Patreon at Dust and Blood, where you can join our community Discord and get perks like our behind-the-scenes discussion show, The Roundup. We're so grateful for the support of our fans, people like Haas, Highland, Sleep McDykel, and Saru. Dust and Blood releases monthly on the 1st, and our next episode is coming at you on July 1st. Content warnings can be found in every episode description, and we hope you enjoy exploring this fantasy western with us. Thanks for listening.
Shoot open to the early morning sun. I feel that aching, pounding, poking of a bullet in my lungs. Skinny ceiling, bones crunching. I feel that wretched ancient something drag me up to face that coward son of a gun. His face grows white as he fumbles for his holster. I feel the lead pierce my shoulder, neck, and chest. I scream that I have died 100 times and lived 1,000 years, and I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best. Yes, I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best.
Would a frog be considered a rodent?
No.
Did not think so. Alright.
The fact that it took me 2 seconds to think about that is my shame. All right, so who would like to give us a recap? Is everybody just bopping along to the music?
Settle down, everyone. Not everyone all at once there.
Asking the hard questions
Dang,
right
can't
away.
hear anybody if we're all shouting at each other.
I completely forgot about Ghost Train.
I probably would have if I hadn't just cut session 9. It's supposed to be a bad omen, according to the lore we created. Bad things happen when it shows up. People get snatched, just like bad things come in its wake.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good sign for our upcoming show.
I'm excited though.
I hope that's irrelevant.
Something bad's gonna happen. I'm excited.
Oh boy.
Me playing
It's gonna
D&D.
be juicy.